Yeah. Say the market's tight, gripping, hold fast. Charts be flipping and dipping. Mainstream won't admit them. Traditionalists be tripping. Live stream crypto, he's sniping for help. Very risky, they shout, but he's playing the wealth. But this is his art. This is his game. He hits the go live and the coins they inflame. Check it. OG Vault in effect. Bringing the heat, what you expect. He's the master of memes, king of the stream. With every go live, he's building the dream. On the east side with beats that glide and a flow so sick, you think he defied. OG be clicking, black candles be sticking, dropping them tips with the market prediction. When he's on the mic, it's a crypto expedition, smacking down bears with sheer precision.
OG off the house, violate the track, violate the track. OG off the house, drop. Violate the tracks, violate black flag. Keep off the house. Violate the tracks. OG walk in the house. Violate the tracks. G walk in the house.
Yeah. Say the market's tight, gripping, hold fast. Charts be flipping and dipping. Mainstream won't admit them. Traditionalists be tripping. Live stream crypto, he's sniping for help. Very risky, they shout, but he's playing the wealth. But this is his art. This is his game. He hits the go live and the coins they inflame. Check it. OG Vault in effect. Bringing the heat, what you expect. He's the master of memes, king of the stream. With every go live, he's building the dream. On the east side with beats that glide and a flow so sick, you think he defied. OG be clicking, black candles be sticking, dropping them tips with the market prediction. When he's on the mic, it's a crypto expedition, smacking down bears with sheer precision.
In the dark drop of night, when the moon is hanging low, a place where of tales starting over this funny grin, and here's learning from the lyrical scene. We dive into the unknown. Crypto madness so fast from the past. Tales from the crypto shadow low and take a dive in the crypto which we unroll. Untied so much more. Ghosts of the memories of freezer home.
Told you it's laggy. There it is. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It's time for Tell.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
We're good now, right? What's up?
We're good? Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, no, your voice cut out. We got you. We're good? Okay.
Sorry, folks in the chat. We're dealing with a little lag. My computer is a mess right now. I need to reformat it completely. Hopefully, we'll be able to get through this stream with not too many technical difficulties. I know there was probably some lag on the intro, and as you can see, my chat isn't even working properly, but hopefully it works enough to get through this one. What are you up to this week, Mo?
Oh man, it's breeding week now. We got breeding moved to week 2 on PFL, so we're coming off a fresh new week, brand new horses on the track. Matter of fact, our Joyride baby might be the only good runner I have this season, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, so I need some money to pay for our breeding.
Nice.
That's
yeah,
about
I
it,
mean,
man. Other than that, we've had some craziness with, out here, we're gonna get into it, but we've had some political stuff going on, a bunch of world stuff going on. The Olympics are going fucking crazy. Trump was on Aiden Ross yesterday, which was probably one of the wildest things ever in our lifetime. But yeah, man, so it's just been pretty crazy, man. How's things about you besides the computer?
Man, it's been a crazy week, like you said. Lots of stuff going on. Yeah, I couldn't believe that Trump was on Aiden Ross's live stream, and he's like offering him gifts that are above the political donation threshold. So he's like breaking the law right there, live on TV, which are live on Kick.
You know,
Well, I
he ain't
guess
taking that shit home.
that's true. He ain't taking on that. I saw the what was the Tesla that he tried to give him, the Cybertruck. That looked pretty dope. I would take that even with the wrap on it.
Oh, that Cybertruck was insane. Oh, fuck yeah. How funny was it, though, when they were talking, like, with the music and stuff? And Trump's like, I like a lot of bands on here, but I don't want to call anybody out because I don't like them. It's like, I like the music, but you don't like the people.
Yep.
You know, it's like the Democrats, so he won't talk about the band.
Yeah.
But no, I thought the whole interview was really well done. Just full transparency, I very much don't like Aiden Ross, anything he does normally. But his professionalism, his ability to let Trump do his thing and not act like a fucking retard. I mean, I thought Aiden Ross fucking killed it. I thought that was very, very well done. Whether you like him or not, whether you like Trump or not, that was cool, man. To have that many people get a chance to see that was really cool.
Yeah, it was alright, I guess. I mean, I'm not a big Trump. I'm surprised that Aiden Ross did as good of an interview that he did, like you mentioned. Shout out to Poca
Well,
Pokey.
real quick, let me just say why it's so monumental. Because, again, I know you've been around here for a few years, but I've been doing Twitch and Justin TV for over a decade, 12 years, right? 13, very longer than that now. When I started doing this, every fucking person said, dude, stop wasting your time, get a fucking job, right? Stop trying to work with streamers. Streaming is fucking lame. It's never going to make any money. Okay. Well, now we're talking some of the, you know what I'm saying? Some massive numbers only on streaming. So that's why I'm seeing it as so monumental, not even who it was. But the fact that it happened on a stream when streaming now has become, in my opinion, the best, you know, form of entertainment. That's why I kind of put it in that category. Sorry, just want to clarify.
No, that's good. It's good for all streamers. That's kind of makes us, I mean, I wouldn't say mainstream, but it kind of shows that we are legitimate people. I mean, not me in particular, but like streamers in general, it kind of makes them more legitimate, which is a good thing. Shout out to Poca
Exactly.
First in the chat today. We got Abdullah Al-Reef here. What's up, everybody? Denny O.C., our biggest fan. Thanks for hanging out with us. Mammoth says, might need to run a few cleanup tools. I need to run something. I need to reformat, but I don't want to lose all my stuff. Hopefully, like I said, we're able to get through the stream, and then maybe I'll spend the week trying to fix it before Saturday's VeVe drop, which we're going to talk about when we get to the VeVe section. Shout out to
I got questions on that.
Mr. Broke Ape. Yeah, I got a little bit of alpha for you on that, too. We got Mr. Jeff here, the OG Crazy Legs. We're going to talk about that, too, Crazy Legs. I got all the alpha for you. I've got the screenshots, the ones that have been deleted now. So we're going to be able to check all that out. But first, as usual,
Wait, we got deleted evidence?
Yes, I do have deleted evidence.
Oh,
You know how I
that's
do,
why we
bro.
show up, chat. That's why we show up here, chat. Let's go.
You know how I roll, Mo. All right, we're going to start off, as usual, with our paranormal topic for this week. I'm trying to load up the video right now. It should load any second, and then we'll get into it. Here we go. I was kind of stretching for something to talk about. I didn't want to go back to UFOs, and we've covered almost all the paranormal stuff that I'm interested in on this channel, but there is one topic in particular, one paranormal theory that I do kind of subscribe to. I'm going to give you all the details, and you can let me know if I'm crazy or not. I might be crazy. Y'all know how I am with the paranormal stuff. But this is the theory. Get it pulled up here. That Sir Paul McCartney of the Beatles actually died in 1966 and was replaced by a lookalike. Once we get this playing here, I'll explain it to you. So what had happened was, on this date that's going to pop up on your screen here in a second, November 9th, 1966, the Beatles were recording the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club album, and apparently there was a fight. They got into an argument. Paul McCartney drove away, and the theory is that he crashed his car that night. Nice looking car right there. And after that, they ended up taking this guy named William Shears Campbell, or Billy Shears, who won a Paul McCartney look-alike contest and looks just like the original Paul McCartney. And they made him the new Paul McCartney because William Shears did disappear after 1966. So let me show you some of the proof. We'll let this guy explain it to you, and y'all let me know what you think. It's getting ready to pop up here. There's a really good a good video called Paul is Dead.
And what about the end of I Am the Walrus?
Here we go.
The phrases bury my body and oh untimely death are heard deep in the mix. References to King Lear. And at the end of the song I'm So Tired, John Lennon can be heard muttering the words, Monsieur, 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 how about another one? But play this one backwards, and it sort of sounds like John Lennon is saying, Paul is dead, man, miss him, miss him. Other clues about the McCartney swap continued to emerge. People have long speculated that the shape of McCartney's ears had changed, suggesting this was indeed a different man. And let's look at Sgt. Pepper's album artwork, the very album McCartney was working on before he apparently died. The flowers are supposed to symbolize McCartney's famously left-handed bass guitar, and at the bottom, Shiva, the destroyer, the Hindu god, is pointing at McCartney. The badge McCartney is wearing looks like it reads OPD, which stands for officially pronounced dead. But other photos from the session reveal the letters are actually OPP, Ontario Provincial Police Department. And if you put a mirror horizontally on the drum, the phrase I won, IX, he die are seen, or 11-9, as in the 11th of November, he die, the date of the supposed car crash. Other clues started popping up on Beatles album covers as well. The Magical Mystery Tour record features the word Beatles written in the stars. But whack out that trusty mirror again and you've got yourself a phone number, which apparently led to a mortuary in London. However, perhaps the most damning evidence came from the booklet of the EP. One of the photos from the I Am the Walrus sequence shows McCartney without shoes on. His shoes are next to Ringo's drum kit and have apparent bloodstains on them. What's more, the swirly pattern on Ringo's drums apparently says, Love the Three Beatles. Additionally, photos show McCartney with a black flower on his lapel, while the rest wear red. And then Abbey Road hit the shelves, and yes, more clues in the album cover. For believers of the theory, the image represents a funeral procession. John Lennon in all white, the priest, Ringo Starr in black as the Undertaker, McCartney is barefoot, symbolizing a corpse, and George Harrison follows behind in denim as a gravedigger. Remember that George Harrison song at the beginning of the video? There's the link. Also, McCartney is walking with his eyes closed and is out of step with the other members of the band.
Yeah, so the fact that they have him out of step with the rest of them, the other ones have their right foot forward, and he has his left foot forward. All of the evidence put together makes me think that maybe there's something to this. The guy himself that you were just listening to, it's not the actual documentary. The documentary is really cool. It's called Paul is Dead. It's only like 30 minutes long. But this guy is a big Beatles fan, and he does Beatles videos on his YouTube channel all the time. And people were asking him to do a video about this conspiracy theory. And he's like, it sounds so stupid. And he says, after I did all the research, I'm convinced that it's true. So I don't know, man. What do you think, Mo?
It's kind of crazy, man. I mean, again, we're talking about 67, right?
1966.
66. So, again, if that took place today, I mean, there would be so many, traffic cams and surveillance cams and people with, smartphones taking video, right? But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I mean, my little knowledge on this is very little. The Beatles were jammed down my throat as a kid. I think I've talked about it. Never really cared for them. Still don't. But I will say, from what I've read on it and read up on it, it does seem pretty believable. I mean, again, like even some of the time frames and like what it was like months before they even like put out anything about it, like in like the Beatles book or something. Again, it was a different world. We didn't have like on the fly information, so who knows? Like it really does seem a little out of place though, if you look at it all like you just did.
What's up,
I'm kind of with you on this, man. I'm kind of with you on this.
Good to see you in the chat. Somebody mentioned mermaids to me, and I think we did a couple of videos on them, but that might have been on Strange Vault. That might be a good topic too, because I was thinking of new paranormal topics to talk about. But yeah, Mo, if you think about 1966 and how big the Beatles were when they were making that Sgt. Pepper album, if one of them did die, they would not want to stop that money from coming in. They were getting paid big bucks. I mean, it's 1966. Maybe they would go to extremes to replace Paul McCartney, and the fact that this guy who won the lookalike contest then disappears, and then they always mention the words they talk about Billy Shears in a bunch of their songs, and the name of this guy is William Shears. Let me check what his last name. William Shears Campbell. So when they say Billy's Shears, people are talking about, they're really saying Billy's here, as in this is Billy. And then you talk about the walrus. Whenever they mention the walrus, they say that when Paul McCartney crashed, he bit through his lips. He bit through his bottom lip and his teeth were sticking out, and that's why they're always talking about the walrus, because nobody understands what the walrus means. They mention it all the time.
I am the walrus.
Yeah, exactly. And there's
so you figure 1966, 1967, like you said, right? So, and again, if you kind of pair it up what happened after the fact, right, I had to bring this up at a date, exact date. So 1970 is when McCartney basically leaves the Beatles, right?
Right.
And it finalizes in 74. So what if that is true? And what if, they tried to play it off? Maybe it was the record company, the label, right? They were trying to keep this Shears guy in there just to keep the Beatles going. And maybe the Beatles started to kind of like figure it out. And he was like, well, McCartney could turn around, just try to sue everybody and leave the Beatles and whatever.
Right.
So maybe it looks like that might have been, the way it all kind of unfolded.
Yeah,
really interesting, though, when you start piecing like the later things together on top of, what we were just talking about.
Yeah, 100%. There's actually records showing that Paul McCartney crashed his car during that month of that year. And then the one that really gets me is the album cover, where if you look at it in a mirror, it says something about you die, and then it shows the date. I mean, it's pretty hard to fake, because otherwise when you look at that cover without a mirror, it really doesn't make any sense at all. But the fact that you put a mirror up to it and it shows words and a date is pretty freaky. Shout out to Muhammad is here. What's up, Muhammad, with the partner statue badge? Says one of them looks like Drake Bell. I've heard the name. I'm not sure who Drake Bell is. Another conspiracy is that girl who did the Skater Boy song. What's her name?
Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, Avril Lavigne. People say that she passed away and they replaced her with a fake as well. But I haven't really looked deep into that one. What's up, Woody? We're going through our normal Tales from the Crypto Tuesday night stream with MoKnowz. As you can see, the chat's not working up there. We're a little bit laggy, but we got through the paranormal part without the computer crashing. So I guess so far so good.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right, so our big topic, the one that everybody's talking about this week, is the Olympic boxing. The ladies at the Olympic boxing. Let me go through with all the information I have for you. Then we're going to see what Mo thinks about it, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. It's about this lady named Imane Khelif, or lady, I guess, is in question. But as you can see, Logan Paul tweeted something about it, saying, "This is the purest form of evil unfolding right before your eyes. A man was allowed to beat up a woman on a global stage, crushing her live streams while fighting for her deceased father." That was the Italian Crarini, or Cayini. People are calling her
Crying.
Crying.
More like it, yeah.
Yeah, because she was crying about losing after getting hit a couple times. And if she's getting hit by somebody that hits like a man, then maybe she has an argument there. So a lot of people feel like this lady right here, Robin Atkins, who says, "Let me make this very, very clear. I have a lot of compassion for any individual who has DSD, differences of sex disorder. My heart breaks for those who wrestle with learning they are opposite biological sex or are infertile. My compassion ends when a biological male who has known for over a year he is a male decides to step into a ring and punch a woman in the face. My rage begins when, after he wins, because she puts her safety above her dreams, he stares her down and grabs her breast." I saw the video where he patted her chest, but I don't think he was trying to grab her breast. And I don't know why I'm referring to her as he, as a lot of people are. A lot of people think that this boxer is a man. She is from Algeria. She was born a girl. She says it's a girl on her birth certificate, and of course in Algeria you're not allowed to change sexes, and you're not allowed to say that your kid is a sex that they aren't. So it's hard for me to see this person as a female. But if you look at the other female boxer, that is what's her name? Lin Chu Ting or something. I can't remember the exact name. She's from Taiwan. And if you look at that picture, I don't think anybody would look at that picture and say that's a woman. However, apparently she was born a woman. When people started bringing her into the conversation, a lot of people got upset. Like this person right here says Lin Yu Ting, that's her name, is a cis woman. So it's a bit of a controversy. The IBA is the people who say that they tested these two boxers and found out that they were males. They held a press conference the other day. In the press conference, they say both boxers were initially subjected to chromosomal tests by an independent laboratory in Istanbul after the IBA received complaints from coaches and competitors during the 2022 Women's World Boxing Championships. Both boxers were retested in India in 2023 at their World Boxing Championships to clarify and confirm prior results. Both boxers were found to have XY chromosomes. Both boxers were informed of the results of the test in writing. Both boxers were given the opportunity to appeal the findings. The IBA offered to pay for the majority of the cost to allow both boxers to appeal. Lin Yuting did not appeal. Imane Khelif appealed, but then withdrew the appeal. So most likely they have XY chromosomes. However, there are some birth disorders that occur where females have XY chromosomes, and I call them females because there are people with this disorder where they're female and they have XY chromosomes that have still successfully given birth to children. So it's hard for me to say that a man can give birth to a child. So these people, not the boxers in particular, but the people with XY chromosomes that gave birth to children, are they not women? So that's kind of where the whole argument is about, are they women or men? But for me, the whole argument should be, should they be allowed? Is it fair to allow them to compete in these boxing tournaments? Also, the IBA is the only people that are claiming that they took these tests. They won't reveal the test. They initially said that testosterone was not tested during the test, but now they say it was. The IBA has been banned from the IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee. I don't know what the I stands for, but the IBA has also been banned from the USA Boxing. They terminated their relationship. IBA is apparently has a lot of corruption going on. That's why they've been banned from the IOC. According to the study, or according to the paper that I read about it, it was mainly one person back in 2023 that banned the two fighters, and it was Kremlin, who is a Russian who is on their board. And it was kind of interesting to see that he didn't ban them until 3 days after Imane Khelif defeated a Russian boxer during this tournament. So, of course, after banning them, that contest got ruled a no contest, and the Russian boxer got to proceed on. So that's a little fishy. I don't trust the IBA people. The Algeria people are upset. They say they're going to sue anybody attacking Khelif. As you can see here from their statement, their energy to defend Imane and Algerian women in general is inexhaustible. There's a lot of angles to this. The president of the IOC says that they were both born as women and there was never any doubt about them being women. What we see now is that someone to own the definition of who is a woman. However, the IOC has some pretty laxed requirements. Basically, if it says that you're a woman on your passport, that's all they need. And that makes them a woman, and they're able to compete in female competitions. Logan Paul had to retract his earlier statement that I just showed. He says he may be guilty of spreading misinformation along with the entirety of this app. Yeah, Twitter is just almost unusable at this point. Although she's been previously disqualified for failing a gender test, in quotations, because nobody has even seen the results of the test or what the test was, and has XY chromosomes. Some sources say Imane Khelif was born a biological woman.
It looks that way to me.
Let's see. So here's my buddy Ed, one of the Krasenstein brothers. So I think he brings up a good point here. Kind of the question here: what determines it if an athlete should be able to play in a male or female league? Is it their genitals? Is it their chromosomes? Is it their hormone levels? Is it their own gender identity? All of these things can contradict each other. What happens when genitals don't match the chromosomes? What happens when hormones don't match the genitals and chromosomes? Yeah, it's not a black and white situation. So it seems to me, and I don't know about Liu Yiting, but I've been looking more into the Imane Khelif stuff, that I would say she has a vagina. But the reason I say that, though, is because she's in Algeria, and there's no Algerian doctor that would call a baby with a penis female. So, in my opinion, she has to have a vagina. She probably has a cervix. And there was one tweet here from a doctor claiming that she does have a cervix. I don't know how she would know. So, I mean, Mo, what do you think? Is she a man or a woman?
Oh, I can't believe we've had to talk about this. I mean, dude, listen, all signs point to being a woman. But again, the world that we live in, testosterone and injections and hormone replacement therapies and all these fucking things going on. I'm not saying they're even doing that, but if they were, I mean, we probably just need some sort of baseline test to understand, what's that line? When are we going to draw the line of like a normal woman fighting or like an Ivan Drago, right? From like Rocky. Now, if you look at Khelif, dude, it's not like she's undefeated out there blasting chicks in the face and knocking them out with one punch like Mike Tyson. True. Because if that was the case, I'd be like, hey, maybe we need to look into this a little bit deeper, right? Dude, she's lost to plenty of women, okay? And when this Italian chick gets up there, and I'm thinking she was even bought off to do this, and take one shot to the face and start crying. Listen, if you're a fighter and you're fighting for the pride of your country, you got to go out there and you're going to fight. You know what I mean?
True.
That whole thing just seemed real shady to me. As far as whether or not she's a woman, all signs point to yes, she was born a woman. She has woman parts. Yes, Adam said it, DSD or Swire syndrome.
Yep.
Yeah, these things do exist, but the question is, you have to come up with, or the problem is you have to come up with some sort of baseline test to say, okay, well, this is where we're going to draw the line. And again, this happens in 2024 because of the world we live in, but you think this thing happened for decades upon decades now of having multiple chromosomes and fighting and, I don't know, man. I just think it's a really woke-ass agenda. A lot of freaking progressive shit going on here. Again, you got these people like Logan Paul running their mouths. You open up that can of worms and you're never putting it back. You're never closed. You can't unring that bell. You know what I mean? And he knows exactly what the fuck he did. And I have a big problem with people like that. And again, I'm not even saying that she should be allowed to fight. If they want to look into, further testing and ways to, differentiate between strength and weaknesses and stuff like that, maybe. But I think at this point in time, the way she's been fighting, I've gone back and watched some of their fights and looked at their records. I mean, they're losing to women, dude. And the women they're losing to are just better fighters. So stop making excuses. Stop trying to fucking pass the blame. And you fight. That's it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. To me, the whole thing is weird. But all signs to me, I'm kind of with you. I think she was born a woman. I believe she is a woman. I think, she's got the parts. Is she going to come out and is she going to shoot a porn after the Olympics just to prove everybody right or wrong?
Probably make a lot of money on OnlyFans. I don't think you're allowed to do that in Algeria, though.
I ain't watching that shit, but you know what I'm saying? But somebody can fill me in on, the spoiler.
I would like the spoiler alert, too. Let's see what the chat's talking about.
You understand what I'm saying, though, right? It's not like she's coming out and blasting people like Tyson and Drago and Rocky.
Right.
You know what I mean? Have you watched any of her fights or anything, man? Like, I don't know, man. Like, again, the eye test for me says this is all weird-ass hoax. And my girl brought up a good point. I don't know if you really looked into this at all. But this could potentially be a massive cover-up for that rapist volleyball player. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, there is a volleyball player who's in the Olympics who was accused and convicted of raping like a 9-year-old girl or something like that, like something crazy.
12, yeah, 12.
It's still crazy.
So, yeah, still crazy. Yeah, it doesn't change the fact. But I'm just saying, again, a lot of progressive maneuvers and woke-ass agendas are like smoke and mirrors and let's fucking distract people and shit like that. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe they know that people will buy into the whole, transgender movement more than like, hey, let's just cover up a freaking pedophile rapist, competing at the Olympics. Which,
yeah, that's
I think those motherfuckers should be kicked off the face of the planet, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it might be like the IBA just trying to gain some credibility or trying to get some revenge for everybody dropping them, because like everybody is now pulling away from the IBA. Before this even happened, like I showed when I was showing the screenshots, one of these here where the USA Boxing terminated their relationship with them. The IOC has banned them. So maybe they're getting some type of revenge here by bringing this up, because it's kind of crazy that they won't release the results. But people say that the countries, Algeria and Taiwan, are like suing them not to release the results, although I haven't seen any proof of that. Let's see. Adam says, Imane is not a male. She was born in a country that doesn't allow sex changes. Thank you. I was worried that we were going to have that whole conversation between is she a male or a female, because there's two questions here. One is she a male or a female? And the other question is it fair for her to compete? I've been arguing with people on Twitter all week about this, and I can never get to the answer about is it fair for her to compete, because they all claim that she's a female. I'm glad to hear that most of the people in the chat, or they all claim that she's a male, sorry. Glad to hear that most of the chat agree that she's a female. I mean, like I said, I feel like, what makes a female? If you have a vagina and XY chromosomes, are you a female? What's more important, your genitals or your chromosomes?
Me, it's genitals. I mean, again, but it's kind of like, when you have like a baby kitten, and you have a bunch of kittens and cats, right? You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
You have a bunch of kittens, and you're like, oh, I want to see if they're male or female. But I got to have them fixed or whatever. You flip them over and you look. It's an eye test. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's almost the same thing here. I mean, I can't pick her up and flip her over to, check. She's much bigger than me.
Right.
But I mean,
Just kick your ass.
yeah, she kicked my ass. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, I don't know, man. I just think that the fact that we even have to have this conversation in 2024 is such a distraction from the big main issues that we're dealing with in this country and this world. We're on the fucking precipice of fucking World War III. As a matter of fact, early this morning, I had seen I meant to send to my girl. We had seen a tweet and some really good interviews and stuff talking about like the Civil War coming. I've been saying this shit for almost 4 or 5 years now. Everyone told me I was fucking crazy. I think you might even told me the same thing. I absolutely believe this country is heading for a civil war. It will unify the hell out of us moving forward. But I feel like all this other transgender, woke-ass bullshit that doesn't happen in other countries, by the way. That's why when you ever look at interviews with other countries, they're like, Americans are nuts. Like, what the hell did they wake up and waste their time doing the weirdest fucking shit over there in America? And they're right, because I wake up and do that. I have to read about this weird-ass shit. You know what I mean?
In other countries, they definitely have men that live as women and women that live as men. They just don't call them transgender, but it's
not a pandemic. It's not like you have an epidemic where you have like these people that are like trying to go around and push their agenda, because that shit ain't happening in other places of the country, other places of the world. I ain't seeing it. If it is, send me some proof. But here in America, it's fucking rallies, it's fucking this, that, and the other, trying to fucking jam this shit down our fucking throats. And that's why when Nick Merckx, big streamer, comes out, and I fully agree with this, leave the fucking kids alone, bro. Leave the fucking kids out of it. They are not in a position. They are very fucking formidable minds. They are not in a position to fucking even deal with this shit. Let them wake up and be kids, man. You know what I'm saying? We're taking away the innocence, bro, and that's the big fucking problem going on here in this country.
Do you have any proof of that? Like, are they actually going into classrooms and telling people they should be transgender? I really don't understand.
Yes. Yes, they're actually going into classrooms, and teachers are now, my girl's a teacher, and she can probably vouch for this, that more teachers now more than ever are going in there spouting out their own personal opinions than ever before. Because when I was going to school, teachers fucking shut the fuck up. They taught the curriculum. We went home. We did our homework. We came back. We did it the next day. That is not how it goes nowadays. Now, again, my girl's a teacher. I can tell you this. This might be anecdotal according to Big A. I apologize. However, more people I talk to across the country and the world that have, spouses that are teachers or whatever, it's all the same. Teachers now feel like they go to school and they're friends with these kids. You got fucking teachers that play Fortnite with the fucking students. They're adding them to their PSN friends list, man. Like, it's a fucked up world. So, yes, they are absolutely spouting their opinions off and fucking brainwashing these children. 100% agree with that.
I gotta ask my kid if he's been brainwashed or if they've been talking about that kind of stuff. Because like you said, when I was in school, they didn't talk about anything like that.
Yeah. You ever try to go, like, listen, I was personable with my teachers, right? Like, usually my dad would, like, do artwork for the school, and, like, I'd have a reason to actually talk to these teachers, Mm-hmm. But even back then, it was just like, okay, Joseph, all right, well, blah, 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 blah. And it's like a quick little conversation on the way out. But, like, nowadays, man, it's crazy the relationship some of these teachers have with their students. It's fucking wild. I'm not even talking about sexual type stuff. I'm just talking about, like, normal conversational type stuff where I'm like, you're talking about that with children? Your students? Like, that's kind of weird, Yeah,
that's definitely not good, and I don't like them pushing any type of agenda to kids. But if they're in high school and they have like sexual education, I mean, I don't mind them talking about that.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think they should be talking to kids under high school about anything about transgenderism or any type of sexual topics, unless it's like a health class. I don't know what year they started teaching health. I think back in middle school I might have got a health class.
7th grade for me.
They showed a penis and a vagina, and I was like, what's that? No, I'm just kidding. Says, she simply has a condition where she had some XY chromosomes but female parts called DSD, or like Mo said, the other one that starts with an S.
Swire?
Swire syndrome. And like I was saying earlier, there are people with Swyer syndrome that are females who have XY chromosomes who have given birth to babies and have vaginas. So if you're calling that a man, then I just can't agree with that. What's up, Smart Buy? What's up, everybody? Let me catch up with the chat. We're going to be talking about the red metallic drops starting on Friday, and then Saturday I'll be streaming one of them. I can't remember which one it is, but I'll have the graphic when we get to the crypto section. I'll be able to remember when I show it, pull it up on the screen. They have child photos. Yeah, I saw the child photos of Imane Khelif, and she looked like a little girl. I haven't seen
100% a little girl. 100% a little girl. That's a little boy, you know what I'm saying, in sheep's clothing. That's a damn good cover-up right there, boy.
C-Spill's got a good question here. What if she has both, a penis and a vagina?
I don't know. You can go home and fuck yourself while you're a boxer. You know what I mean? Like,
she definitely
if I had both, I would sit home. I would never leave the fucking house. You know what I mean? That's the old saying. If I could suck my dick, why would I ever leave the house? You know what I mean? There's no reason.
All right.
You know what I mean?
True. Autumn says she's 11-5. I thought she lost 9. She's actually lost. Khelif anyway has lost 9 fights to females. The Italian camp
boxing
fight.
have different records. They have like, you know, professional records.
And
they have
international.
like, yeah, like international records and intermediate amateur records. Like,
What's
she has
up,
a shit ton of
Ghost
losses, basically. You know what I mean? If she was as much of a man as people are saying she was, because again, I'll say this and I'll say it with pride, and I'm not really ashamed of it. Women ain't competing with men, all right? Listen, I'm not even a big guy. Maybe 1 out of 100 women are going to beat my ass. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even a fighter. I'm not a big guy at all. So if you're telling me a woman's going to step in the ring, or if Imane's a dude, then, again, it's going to look like Mike Tyson out there. It's going to look like fucking LeBron or Jordan going against these fucking young rookies, right? Like, that's not how it looks. It looks like she's a boxer who trains harder, comes from a country that just is bigger and better, and when it comes to fighting, at least. And that's it. You know? That's the way I see it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Thanu says, what's up, Vault and Mo? What's up, Thanu? Thanks for hanging out. Just came back from work. We got Bitcoin BM Dub in the chat. What's up, everybody? Should it be determined by when the person reached puberty? So that's a big argument that a lot of people were saying, is that these females or these people, these boxers, have gone through male puberty during their teenage years. But I don't understand how they know that is even true. And is there a difference between male and female puberty, or is it just puberty?
Is there a difference between male and female puberty?
Yeah.
I mean, our voices get lower. I don't think female voices get lower. I guess, yeah,
they change a little bit, though.
Tits. Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, still, just it's like a metamorphosis of the body, though. No, I mean, maybe, yeah.
Bitcoin makes a good point here to keep people from questioning the lizard's overlords. They want us to talk about this, so we're not questioning our lizard overlords. And we showed you some lizards last week. Unfortunately, that video got taken down because we showed some Olympic footage, and you're not allowed to do that, apparently. I didn't know that. What's up, Dr. Strange is in the chat. It happened in other countries, just not publicized. Yeah.
No, it's not publicized because it ain't happening. All right, it ain't as bad as it is here. And again, I'm not saying if you take 1 out of a fucking 100 or 1,000 people and be like, oh yeah, this guy thinks he's a woman or this woman thinks he's a dude because she walks around with fucking, you know, short hair and a fucking cut off t-shirt and drives a truck. You know what I mean? Like, I think I told you the story, Bolt. When I used to change tires, right? Yeah. We had this truck that was coming in, and you know, it was like a weird intersection, so they had a hard time coming in. So I was like jumping out, trying to help them, you know, guide into the parking lot. And I was like, all right, come on, dude. I got you, bro. Come on. And this driver jumps out the truck, and it was just a straight-up tomboy, man. You know what I'm saying? Short hair, again, cut-off sleeves, fucking, you know what I'm saying? She was like, hey, thanks, dude. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, even had the deep voice and, like, whatever, like, was really leaning into it. So, I don't know, man. If you're going to take 1 out of 100, 1 out of 1,000, but it's definitely not as fucking much of a problem as it is here. That's why people think America's crazy.
I mean, if you consider it to be a problem, maybe it's not a problem that we're letting people live the way they want to live. As long as they're adults. I mean, I feel like people can do whatever they want. And I'm here in rural Indiana, and I've seen like 4 or 5 transgender people just in the last couple months. So it's pretty prevalent. And I don't know that necessarily that it's a bad thing that it's prevalent.
It's not a bad thing that transgender is prevalent. Again, because weird shit's been happening our whole fucking lives. The fact is, like, we never wake up every day, and I live on the internet, unfortunately, but on the internet, when I leave the house, it's like, things are still adding up. They're matching up, dude. Like, fucking everybody just wants to fucking spout off their opinion, and you gotta believe this, or you're a fucking horrible human being. Like, oh my God, it's disgusting. And that's my problem with it. It's not the whole, like, oh, if you're a dude and you feel like you're a woman and you want to celebrate your life as a woman, good on you. Good on you. I hope it works out for you. I don't really have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with people changing their sex either. I do have a big problem with people looking down on other people because they don't really, believe in their fucking theories or whatever the hell they're doing, So I don't have to celebrate you if you want to fucking become a different sex. I don't have to celebrate that shit. But you can live your life, like you said, and do whatever the hell you want,
True.
So.
All right, so let's get to the harder part of this whole conversation. So I think we agree that she was born and she is a female. She probably does have XY chromosomes. Is it fair for her to compete? And I ask that with keeping this in mind. If you look at Michael Phelps, the swimmer, has double jointed elbows and knees, a hyperextended thorax, 50% less lactic acid production than the average competitor. He won 8 gold medals. Like we said earlier, Khelif has lost like 9 matches. Does he have more of a genetic advantage? Is it okay for people in the Olympics to have a genetic advantage? You look at Victor Wembanyama, he's 7'5". That's a genetic advantage. So are these genetic advantages okay? Should we allow these people to participate? Should we allow women with XY chromosomes to participate in Olympic boxing?
I don't think so. I mean, are you going to say, like you said, Victor Wembanyama, right? Wembanyama, what did you say his name?
Wembanyama.
Wembanyama. You're going to say, if you're over a certain height now, you can't play in the NBA? That's some bullshit. You were lucky. You were born with a fucking growth spur. You got a growth spur throughout your life or whatever. You were born tall. And you could dunk. I can't fucking dunk. I'm 5'10". I mean, I dunked a mini ball. I palmed it and dunked it like maybe once or twice in my life. It was the best thing I ever did. You're gonna take that away from somebody because they're fucking built different. You know what I mean? Now, when it comes to fighting and chromosomes, if that's gonna change power and impact and stuff like that, I don't know. What do you think, Walt? Do you think maybe we do like a Rocky IV, punch test where it's like, hey, if you punch harder than this on a normal basis, you're not allowed to fight in that division. You know what I mean? But then again, that's bullshit because what are you gonna do? You're gonna know that's coming. So if you're a male competing in a female category division, you're just gonna punch weaker in the test. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna punch weaker until it matters, and you're gonna knock the shit out of somebody. So I don't think that works either. But I don't know, man. What do you think? Like, what do you think the path is moving forward? Because I think they should be able to fight. This has been happening again since day one. Different chromosomes. We now just able to test for it. Even the test isn't really that, highly looked at. You know what I'm saying? It's not really that legit from what I read, which is why the IBA is where they're at. So I don't know, man. What do you think?
I mean, the fact that the 2 people in question that have the XY chromosomes are now the 2 final competitors battling for gold makes me feel like they probably do have an advantage. Of course, both of them were in the last Olympics in Tokyo, and neither one of them won. They both got beat. I need more information. I need testosterone counts. I need a doctor to tell me how much does testosterone affect the power of your punches. They probably do have an advantage, but like I said, with Michael Phelps, he has an advantage. Victor Wembanyama, he has an advantage. So I almost feel like it's a fair advantage.
Can we clarify something? So you're telling me that at a time back in the Tokyo Olympics when transgender wasn't such a freaking woke-ass agenda and such a main topic, when it wasn't a hot button topic, that they got their asses kicked like normal fighters. But all of a sudden, when it's a big world, topic here now, because America's fucking crazy and shit, all of a sudden, it's a big problem. Now they're just waltzing their way to the top 2. I'm telling you, man, every fucking chick that they fought against was paid off. Every single one of them were paid off to not fucking fight. I'm telling you that.
It might be a mental thing, though. I mean, maybe at the time during the last Olympics, they didn't even know this was a possibility or a controversy. But now that they know beforehand that apparently it's possible that these are men, maybe it's a mental thing. Maybe they're more scared. Like the Italian lady was definitely scared if she wasn't paid off.
Love that. Love that idea. Because what did Madden used to say, right, about in the NFL? 90% of the game is half mental. Yeah. Right? And if you can mentally psych yourself up, me, again, as a smaller guy, and I've been in some fights, you know what I mean? And I've been pummeled by 350-pound El Salvadorians. I had a fucking 6'4" fucking brother, fucking black dude, fucking pick me up and flip me over like a fucking pancake on the concrete. Dang. Trust me, I've been tossed around. There's also been other dudes that were a little bit bigger than me where I can fucking psych myself out to fucking get some shots in and actually, you know what I'm saying, have a nice little fight. But again, I think you're right. I think a lot of it does come down to being mental. If you're not mentally tough, you're never going to be physically tough. That's just the way this world works, man.
Right, 100%. Big A says, all the people saying that XY is always male must now admit that men can have kids. That's the argument I've been making on Twitter, too. They're all saying that if you have XY chromosome, you're a male, period. But there are people with XY chromosomes that have given birth. So are you saying that males can give birth? It doesn't add up. Poke's talking about Thursday's drop. Friday's drop's more exciting in my opinion, and Saturday's drop. C-Spill says might be able to get pregnant, but probably could carry the baby throughout the process. Probably, are you saying probably couldn't carry? I know there were 2 sisters who have that Swire syndrome that both have XY chromosomes, and they both successfully gave birth to children. Big A says I read that Imane, because of XY, has male level testosterone, which would be an advantage. That's exactly right. If they have too much of an advantage, then maybe they shouldn't be competing. But I guess we're not really in the position to judge. We're not boxing experts. We don't know that much about it. But I think there are ways where you can prove that they have too much of an advantage. But then look at Michael Phelps. Does he have too much of an advantage? I don't know if
that's the question. Yeah. Exactly. And you're going to talk about one of the most, decorated Olympians of all time, Michael Phelps, and now you're going to try to discredit him? They tried to discredit him enough when they fucking outed him as a pothead, which only helped my stock in this world. I've always said, man, you smoke weed, you got the iron lung, you can fucking rip 6-foot bong hits and hold that shit in. You could swim laps, you know what I mean? Like that. 100%. That's a fucking fact.
That's good lung training right there. He probably trained his lungs with the bong.
Exactly. Yep.
Honestly,
but no, you're right though.
These women have lost fights. It's not like they're out there dominating. The problem is they are dominating in these Olympics, though. They beat everybody else. They're the final 2 competitors. But maybe if they got beat early on in the whole Olympics, this wouldn't even be an issue. But the fact that they're winning kind of makes it more of an issue as well. So I don't know, man. It's a crazy topic. It's something that a lot of people are arguing about on Twitter. I'm glad we can all pretty much agree, unless y'all want to do a poll, that they are females and not males. The real question is, should they be allowed to participate, or do they have too much of an advantage? C-Spill says, have they been eating the meat that Pacquiao was eating? I didn't know Pacquiao had some special meat he was eating. Maybe I need to order that from the store. I didn't know that was a thing. All right, let's move on to politics. My girl Kamala just announced that...
I feel like we just did politics, but yeah, it's just going right along with it. Let's go.
Yeah, pretty much. That goes a lot with politics for sure. But Kamala did announce her VP pick, which is Tim Walz, which I don't even know much about Tim Walz. I guess he's the governor of Minnesota maybe. And the criticism from the right... Let me bring my stuff back. The criticism from the right is that he was the mayor or the governor whenever they had the BLM protests. So I don't know how you can criticize him for that. It's not like he was out there burning buildings or whatever. But I do want to not be too biased here. So I wanted to bring up a topic that I kind of agree more with the Trump side than I do with the Kamala side. And that is on the debates that they're supposed to be having. Kamala Harris put out a statement about Donald Trump choosing not to debate her with the terms that had already been discussed. She says Donald Trump is running scared and trying to back out of the debate he already agreed to and running straight to Fox News to bail him out. He needs to stop playing games and show up to the debate that he already committed to on September 10th. So apparently Donald Trump had committed to this debate. I think it was going to be ran by ABC or something like that. And now he has backed out of it. I guess maybe because he's debating Kamala and not Joe Biden this time. But somebody brought up a really good point about this, saying that Kamala refuses to debate him at Fox News. And in the first debate, Biden's the one who chose the network, chose the moderators, chose the podium location, and chose the rules. Trump agreed to all of them and still won the debate. That's debatable in my opinion. I don't think he won. It's the only reason you're now the nominee, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, that is a good point that Trump didn't have any say, or Biden chose everything. Trump didn't have any say in the first debate, so why doesn't he get to pick the network and the moderators for the second debate? One thing that Trump does want in this second debate is for there to be a live crowd of his choosing, which that don't seem fair at all. He's just going to put a bunch of his cult members in there, and they're going to cheer at everything he says, no matter how much he lies, and they're going to boo everything Kamala says, whether she's right or wrong. So who do you think, Mo, who do you think is dodging the debate? Is it Kamala dodging the debate, or is it Trump dodging the debate?
Well, so Kamala dodged the original meeting, right? They were supposed to meet at that black conference where they tried to throw fucking Trump through the ringer and he put them in their place. Love to see that.
What?
But here's the thing.
He looked horrible at that black journalist conference. They made him look like a fool. They were laughing at him in the audience. But okay, go ahead.
I mean, maybe. Again, depends what kind of brain you're looking at it with. But the main issue you have to look at with the Trump thing is that it's probably based more on his lawyers telling him on litigation. If he's suing the fuck out of ABC with the fake news shit, then you really can't bring that debate onto ABC. And he was also supposed to be debating Biden, which he even talked about this on the Aiden Ross show. That's like training for somebody for a fight and then just switching it up on them. You know what I mean? But however, I don't really buy that part of it, because why would you want to move it up then? Like, I feel like he would need more time. So it's all weird. I feel like they're both dodging each other. I don't think either one of them. I think Kamala's scared because she knows that Trump could just do some wild shit. I think Trump's just scared because he don't know what to fucking do with her. Like, I mean, she shouldn't even be there, bro. Like, the biggest slap in the face of democracy that we have going on right now is that the Democrats and the progressives tried to fool everybody. Biden's sharp as a tack, Biden's this, Biden's that, and all of a sudden, massive pressure to step down. Why? Because they know if they would have done it ahead of time, there would have been pressure in the party to fucking put RFK Jr. on the ticket, not Kamala Harris. That's the big problem that I have with everything going on. The fact that she's there by default. So I don't know. What does he do with her? He talked about it on the Aiden Ross show, man. Like, she fucking wins, we are fucked.
How? She would
I
just
have no
have
problem with
this.
the Democratic Party.
What?
But man, if she wins, we're done.
How? Okay, how are we done if she wins?
Bro, listening to her talk, watching her interact with people.
Have you heard Trump talk?
Yeah, I have actually. And he fucking can work a room like no other, bro. You know, that man. Oof. Did you hear what he said? He's like, listen, they're coming after you, but I'm standing in their way. You know what I'm saying? And that's the goddamn truth.
Wait,
she ain't talking like that.
They're coming after you. Why would they be coming after you? You didn't pay off a porn star and then say that it was use your campaign finances.
So the world itself is always coming after us, right? They want to brainwash us with fucking crazy ideas and fucking throw this rhetoric down our fucking throat and pretend like, oh, everything we're doing is great. Let's just push this fucking world towards socialism. Blah 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 blah. Okay, well, right now, again, maybe it's just COVID. Maybe it would have happened to Trump too. I think it probably would have been bad. Still, I've always admitted that. However, there's no way that with fucking watching Kamala Harris talk that I feel confident about the future of this country. And again, it's not a Democrat thing, not whatsoever. I like Barack Obama because to me, I felt like he knew how to handle this fucking country and how to handle the rest of the world. So that's just my personal take on it. Agree, disagree. It's all good.
Yeah, I disagree personally because I think that her policies are going to follow pretty much Joe Biden's. The fact that she picked Tim Walz, who's like a super progressive person. A lot of people in the chat mentioning that they like Tim Walz. All I know about him so far is that he's very progressive, so that means that she wants to move to the left, which I think is 100% what the country needs, is to move further to the left and farther away from Trump and people who deny the results of the election and then pretend like they won when they lost. It's just...
hey, listen, I've never said everything he does is right, and I've always said, I've denounced that. I've said, listen, man, he should have just fucking said he lost, and that's it. Come back in 2024, whoop the fucking shit out of him, and take the country back. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think about him saying that if we use electric planes and it's not sunny that day, the planes will fall out of the sky?
He says it more of a joke. But did you hear what he said about, rebuilding the infrastructure? You know what I'm saying? Like how much money you want to push this country to a full electronic vehicle infrastructure. You got to redo all the bridges. You got to redo all the roads.
Well, he's pro-electric now.
He's not pro-electric. We have to go electric, but you can't just force a mandate. That's his problem. We can transition into an electronic world. Yes, we all know this, right? But you can go hybrid, whatever the case might be. But you're forcing, again, especially like truckers and big companies to go full electronic EV vehicles, and the bridges can't handle it. Batteries in these fucking things make the vehicle run like almost 2.5 times heavier. They don't lose the gasoline as they go across the country. They stay the same weight. That's gonna take a big toll on the infrastructure of this country, man. That's a lot of money now that has to go back into rebuilding bridges and doing all this crazy shit. So it's not just as, oh, let's just switch it over to EV, which again, I think everybody agrees down the road we'll get there. But it's just, you can't just say, all right, bam, do it today, because there's a lot of things that have to happen before that can really take place.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think anybody's trying to mandate it, but I could be wrong about that. Let me catch up.
No, your whole party's trying to mandate it.
They're not making it. I mean, Biden is in office
right
now.
Go after people. Yeah.
They're giving like tax credits for going electric, which I think is a great idea.
Right, but they're doing it, and then they're going to wonder why. Oh, this just in, news report coming in from ABC News. 7 trucks fall off a bridge today because it wasn't stress tested for EV vehicles. Like, that's the fucking news story you're going to see because we tried to fucking rush it. And again, fucking weird-ass progressive fucking agendas are going to throw us in a fucking apocalypse, bro. I'm telling you, it's going to be so fucked.
Big A says there was a female runner, Caster Semenya, that was disqualified for too high natural testosterone levels and asked to be on blockers to compete. Yeah, and I heard about this Caster Semenya person. Apparently, he or she said something about how her internal testicles don't make her any less of a woman. And then apparently she married a woman and then fathered her children. That's just what somebody told me on Twitter. I can't verify it, but I don't know exactly what condition.
On that either.
I don't know what condition that person has and if it's different than the condition that these two boxers have or not. They haven't told us the condition yet.
But testosterone has to, I mean, it has to fucking correlate with the strength and body, right? Because if you're transitioning and everything, right? I mean, that's what you're doing, right? Like you're trying to either increase or decrease your hormones, right? Because that'll affect how your body grows, and maybe you'll grow tits if you're a guy or whatever, if you're a woman, right? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, you're right.
I think that was the whole point. So maybe testosterone level in the long haul, if we're going to circle back to it, maybe testosterone level is the ultimate, deciding factor of whether or not you should be able to compete in female division or not.
Yeah, they need to just come up with a deciding factor and come up with a limit about how much testosterone you're allowed to have. And if they're over the limit, that's fine. But don't go around calling them a man. They're just a female who's not allowed to compete. Autumn says Dims have...
See, that's what I'm saying. You said it's fine, but you're right. Like, it's not fine in a competition level because they can't compete.
Right.
Like, that would have to bar them from competition. So you can't be high on testosterone and try to step down into a female division, right?
Right.
But no one cares if you're low on testosterone and try to go up to a male division. They just won't let you. They won't let it do it because they'll tell you you're fucking nuts. You're gonna get knocked the fuck out, right? So you're crazy. But they don't. They wouldn't be against it, right? I guess they would allow it.
Right. Yeah. And
Someone like Imane, if they said she had high testosterone, and okay, fine. You know what? Next Olympics, go compete against the men. How do you think that fucking turns out?
Gets her ass kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She one round that she has to withdraw from the competition. One punch she has to withdraw from the competition.
Right. And I've always said that I don't think that transgender people should be able to compete in sports from the high school level up because there's a financial incentive for people to lie. Let's see.
Well, for sure. And we talked about this. I mean, what about a parent, right? What about two parents who were, struggling to make ends meet? They got a son who, identifies as a boy right at the time, somewhat good at basketball, right? Somewhat good. Not great, but somewhat good. And they're like, wow, we just fucking convince our, son to become a woman. We can just dominate at the WNBA level. Like, I'm telling you, bro, this is going to happen. It will become a story. It will become a fucking movie. It'll have higher ratings than The Blind Side because that's what this whole world is gravitating towards right now. It's crazy, man, that the fact that that's even like a thing that could happen. You tell me that shit in the late 80s, early 90s. If that was going to be on my fucking bingo card at age 42, I'd say, you know what? Put me in a fucking car crash tomorrow. Get me the fuck out of here. Like, this shit is getting out of control.
Yeah, and there are people that I like, pundits, political pundits that I like, who believe that transgender should be able to play sports all the way up to any level. I just think that's crazy. I disagree with them 100%. Autumn says Dems outplayed the Republicans, Trump and all the fools that don't understand politics crying you can't switch candidates. I mean, it is true that they did kind of skirt the democratic process of the primaries, but the Democratic National Convention is allowed to use any methods whatsoever that they want to pick their candidate, and there's really not a lot of Democratic voters that are complaining about it. It's all the Republicans that are voted about it. Us Dems, I'm not really a Democrat, but I always vote Democrat. We're happy. We didn't like Biden. Biden was too old. I mean, I thought it was all overblown because he stutters every once in a while and he forgets every once in a while and he sounds old. But I don't think he was like decrepit and just getting ready to drop it any second. It was just the fact that narrative had become so strong that he knew he was going to lose. So they did the only thing they could have done and replaced him. I'm glad that he was. Well,
they replaced him before they replaced him, because if you think that was Biden walking out there in the fucking front of the White House with fucking Jill there, oh, no shot. That definitely didn't look like him. You know what I mean? So he was already replaced before he was replaced. So
because he was like 3 inches taller or something? I heard that conspiracy theory. I'm sure
what do you have, stilts on? Was he out there? Was he practicing his fucking circus act for the fucking Barnum and Bailey circus coming through town?
I mean, if you're going to say there was a look-alike or a clone, I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't believe that. I don't know about all that. I agree with Adam. I don't think RFK was ever an option to be on the Democratic ticket. He was more like working with Trump. After listening to that phone call he had with Trump, it seemed pretty obvious. Adam says, no different than Trump. Trump did nothing. Both these parties are a joke. I mean, they're all corporatist, but Trump is a wild card to where he could like literally destroy the country. On the other hand, maybe he could fix the country because he does something crazy, but he's already said he's going to give more tax breaks to the rich, and that's the problem with the country in the first place. So he's just going to...
Well, not tax breaks to the rich, but he's going to fucking absolutely get our economy back by putting all the fucking restrictions and everything on China. Again, once he gets... That's where we fucking let things get away from us, right? Like, here at home, you can be like, oh, well, okay, inflation, well, cost of living has gone up, and, you know, not here in New York, but our minimum wage hasn't gone up. I think maybe at one point it did. Gallons went up to like $15 or some shit like that.
I mean,
it's like,
you understand
minimal.
that Biden's economy was much better than Trump's economy, right?
I mean,
a lot
debatable. But again, if you look at on a global scale as to where we're heading, everything from, you know, putting us behind the 8 ball with digital currency because, you know, Kamala just loves to keep coming out saying Bitcoin, criminal currency. You know what I'm saying? So the more we let this shit happen, because China's going to keep doing it, right? Like, no matter everything that we stop doing, whether it's EV vehicles, and that's why Trump keeps saying it. He said it again yesterday. This is brand new. This is not brand new information. If we stop doing it, China will continue to do it. Other parts of the world, Russia, they will all continue to do shit if we stop. So we have to do it. We have to keep up.
I mean, I agree with that. In some things like artificial intelligence, we have to keep doing it even though it's
AI,
dangerous.
crypto, you fucking name it.
China's not doing crypto. China bans crypto. They ban crypto and then they go buy some, but then they ban it again. I mean,
China's absolutely in crypto. And I'm saying all digital currencies. Why do you think they're so fucking big? We're trying to wipe out the U.S. dollar. We just talked about this. That's why they're so fucking gung-ho on doing it. Because the first thing it does is it removes the U.S. dollar from being the go-to currency across the globe. And then they fucking work in this weird-ass fucking digital currency that we don't have a part of. And then we come out with the USDC coin, you know, here to replace our dollar that has a fucking expiration date and taper inflation and control us like usual. So, I mean, again, that's a dark fucking world. I don't want to live in that world. I'm sorry.
VeVe Vet.
So you might enjoy it. I don't want to fucking live there. So.
What's up, VeVe Vet? He says, why is it because if I hang my American flag in front of the house, it means I'm a Republican? I'm a Republican, but the flag should be for all parties and not just one. Bro, I've been saying this for years. How come whenever you see a truck driving down the highway with the American flag, you automatically know that's a Trump voter? It shouldn't be that way. I agree 100%. I think.
Why is that? Why is it?
Well, it's not always 100% true, especially like in places like Indiana.
No, but why do we think that? But why when people... When you see that American flag, why is the first thought process for 90% of Americans to go down that road?
Because
the media.
Because Republicans are really small-minded, and they feel like if they show off the Republican...
The media creates a divide.
No,
the
they
media
show off
creates
the American flag.
The same way that they create a divide with the East Coast,
patriot.
West Coast hip-hop fucking battle. And again, you want fucking truth? You want truth? Go watch the Snoop Dogg interview with Joe Rogan. It might sound like a weird segue, but Snoop Dogg blows it all up. Everybody was convinced back then it was an East Coast, West Coast battle because the media fucking portrayed it. But he was like, if Instagram and fucking TikTok would have been around, everybody would have known it was all fake. It was all bullshit. It was all fucking media narrative because it was just fucking masking all the fucking Gulf War and all the fucking shit happening with the Middle East. It was all a fucking ploy, bro. And this is no different. No different. And that's why people think that. And you should always be able to put a fucking American flag in front of your house. And I'll have one in front of my house, and someone ever tells me to take it down, they're going to walk out with a fucking boot up their fucking ass because it ain't happening. I'm a fucking American first, and I'm a goddamn patriot. All right?
No, that's bars. So. That's definitely true about the East and West Coast beef. They manufactured it for several reasons. They made money off of it. They covered the war.
But for decades, people were convinced, like, oh, there was actual beef. Actual beef because we didn't have that moment, you know, that quick fucking access to technology and information. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Snoop was like, hey, if that shit was popping up today, you would have seen me hanging out on the West Coast or the East Coast with East Coast guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, he blew that whole fucking thing up, man. And I even looked it up, and like, even up until recently, no one ever blew that up. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's just another fake-ass media portrayal, which again, I personally believe is the reason why people believe what they believe. Oh, American flag, fucking Trumper, fucking Republican. I don't know, man. And to me, again, that whole rhetoric is just fucking asinine.
Shout out to Greedy Ones in the chat. What's up, Greedy? Bitcoin BMW has a good question here. Can you name one good thing that Kamala has done as VP? Can you name one good thing that any VP has done? They don't do anything. They're not supposed to do anything.
I mean, Mike Pence was outstanding.
Mike Pence did one good thing, and it's wild.
He shut the fuck up.
What's that?
And let Trump do his thing. He shut the fuck up and let Trump do his thing.
No, he stopped Trump from overturning the election single-handedly.
Okay, well, that was
He didn't
actually
have to do
that
that.
was two good things. I'll agree with you on that.
And the fact that Trump's own VP has said that he's not going to vote for Trump is wild. When has that ever happened? I mean, come on, that's pretty crazy right there. What he says, RFK and the bear. I'm not sure what that means. Put her in the NFL, the MMA. I mean, boxing is kind of like MMA. They're contact sports, and I think those are kind of more important to have limits of having people who have an advantage beating up on people who don't. I don't know. C-Spill says, are you talking about Juwanna Mann? I actually like that movie a lot, and I watched that back before people were talking about transgender stuff. It's a decent movie. Autumn says, Republicans believe in Biden double, but call Dems stupid over Trump fake assassination theory. Good point. Both parties are a joke, and I believe in the Trump fake assassination theory at this point. I don't even think he was hit by a bullet. I think there was a second shooter. It was all set up. I mean, Trump's not the type of person to be brave when things like that happen. Did you see what happened when that eagle, when he was having a commercial and the eagle kind of like moved around at him and he freaked out? He's not a brave person, so I'm very skeptical of the whole assassination story. Dr. Strange says, when China bans Bitcoin, they are banning the miners who then leave China and come here and mine. Meanwhile, during the announcement dip, China buys more. Yeah, that's one thing about China banning Bitcoin. Whenever they announce it, it drops, and then China themselves, and it's been proven, go in and buy the cheaper Bitcoin.
That's what I'm saying. So again, it's just nothing more than control.
Yeah.
It's just trying to control the fucking, not only the narrative, but control the money in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked up, bro. Fucked up.
It's not good. Gritty says, I'm a veteran. I have a flag hanging outside my house. I live in Northern Virginia. Pretty liberal out here, and people actually... Virginia? Liberal? I'm surprised. People actually had an issue with the flag. I'm not a Republican. They left a note at my door. They had an issue with you hanging the American flag.
Yep. And I read stories and I see shit like this all the time, brother. And it's fucking sickening to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know why anybody would have an issue with that, especially at your own house. They left a note. Bruh, I would be upset. And I'm liberal too. I think that's crazy. There's no reason you should have an issue with that at all. Autumn says, imagine if those in charge of the US dollar is behind crypto. Get your enemies to dump money into Bitcoin, then the ultimate rug from the top wallet selling off. It's kind of like the stock market now. It's like the whales have an advantage that we can't compete with. That's why I don't play the stock market. Of course, I kind of do, but I let Vanguard do everything. They handle all my money. Gritty says, Northern Virginia is liberal? Oh, my bad. I thought Virginia was very conservative, but I could be wrong. You can see the polls up here above. Of course, if you go on Twitter, you'll hear people say thousands of different things about thousands of different polls. This is from it's called Road to something, the number of delegates you need, and it combines all the polls. So currently, apparently, Kamala has a small lead nationally over Trump. And you can see in some of these swing states, some states Trump has a lead, some states Kamala has a lead. If there's no debate, I don't know what else is going to change. Some people have theorized that Elon Musk is going to facilitate some type of crazy story about Kamala the week before the voting, which I would not be surprised at all. The way that he's running Twitter, he's trying really, really hard to get Trump elected, and he's actually being investigated for election interference right now. I don't know. Greedy says...
Yeah, and you know what? And Google should probably be the fucking same. Because again, we talked about this last week. We talked about the assassination, right? So that happened on a Saturday. We do our show on a Tuesday. And I even said it on the show. I was like, man, it's just fucking crazy. When like I started researching things and looking things up, it was taking me down weird-ass rabbit holes on Google. Like, it wasn't even taking me to what I would want to go to. So again, I don't know. You want to say that maybe that's a Democratic cover-up on their side too? Now, I'm not saying Elon Musk isn't guilty of what you're saying, because I see it on Twitter all the time. But it's just kind of fucked up. You got all these companies out there that are trying to just fucking interfere, bro. Like, it's not good, man. It's just not good.
And the reason for that, and I don't know if it's a bad thing or not, it might be a good thing, and the reason for that is the demonization of the media by Trump. So nobody really gets into mainstream media anymore because they were super corporatist anyway. They were very biased. Of course, people on the right will say that they're very liberal, but they're actually not super left-wing. Like, they would not do anything for Bernie Sanders. They don't like progressives at all. They just like the corporate narrative and whoever's going to be the most corporatist, and in this case, it was Joe Biden over Trump. So they're biased too, so I guess it's okay that they got demonized. But when you get rid of that mainstream media, then all these alternative medias are now kind of the mainstream media, and they can freaking say anything and they can lie about anything and people will believe it, and it just gets wild.
Well, listen, I'm not out there listening to OAN, and I'm not listening to the fucking Tucker Carlson network, even though I do watch all of these and I'll tune into every single thing that I can fucking, watch. But I don't, it's not, to me, it's not my fucking Bible. You know what I mean? I'm going to use my own fucking brain, my own critical thinking, common sense. But what I look at, and we went through this during the BLM stuff and then like COVID, live streams. The fact that you have so many live streaming platforms that can show you shit undoctored, uncensored, you know what I'm saying, unaltered, everything is what you see is what you're getting. And that to me is always going to be, moving forward, the best possible form of, you know, getting the facts and not waiting for it to be filtered down through a producer into a fucking, you know, a broadcast or a newscast or something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Because again, by then, I mean,
definitely.
how many times the story changed? You know what I mean? By then.
That's a good point. 100%. Greedy One says whenever they were yelling at him about the flag, they were calling him a race traitor because he's black. So they're pretty much assuming that because you have a flag that you're a Republican. That's wild. And you're not even a Republican. But just having the flag, I mean, that's just crazy to me. I don't understand how that works. Dr. Strange says the North is more racist and anti-flag than you'd ever imagine. More racist and anti-flag than the South? That doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Which is crazy because the South had a different flag back then. You would think... you know what I'm saying? They'd be pissed about the flag down there, but they'd like put the rebel flag? What was it called?
Conservative flag. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily believe this. I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but I guess it was maybe 8 or 9 years ago. I was dating a girl after getting divorced. I was dating this girl for about 2 years. We lived together, and she was a black girl. She was very dark, too, and nobody ever said anything or even looked at us weird until we went to Mississippi for vacation. We went down to Biloxi, Mississippi, and stayed the weekend, and bruh, people were looking at us like we were aliens walking together. There was no other mixed couples anywhere. And every time we'd go to like the mall or just to putt golf or something, people looked at us like we were freaking crazy. It was wild. I'd never seen nothing like it before in my life. Of course, I live in southern Indiana, so it's kind of a special place in that the Ohio River was the border between the North and the South. So when slaves were fleeing the South to get to the North, they would cross the Ohio River and they would just stop. And that's where I live. So we have lots of mixed couples around here. It's no big deal. And I know people are saying like in Florida, it's no big deal either. But in places like southern Mississippi and Alabama, bro, they look at you like you are crazy. That's not a thing around there. It is not.
Yeah, because they just got rid of like separate water fountains and bathrooms like 10 years ago.
10 years
you know
ago?
What I'm saying? Like, no, it's probably a little longer than that. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, there's still a lot of parts of this country, man, that are, they just don't get it. Yeah. Like I said, I've never dated a black chick. I think I've probably only hung out, hooked up with like one maybe, quickly, but it's just never for me. It's not because I'm racist. It's just, I don't know. I was always hanging around with white people, I guess, and, you know, it's just the way it worked out. But it's not because I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. Like, that's weird.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think that. I think that, you know, that's your choice, and if you guys get along and you love each other and you want to make babies, go for it. As long as you're fucking happy, man. Like,
100%.
What I don't want is people that are like, oh, I have to date this person because they're white and my dad says it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's fucking crazy shit. Like, I don't like that shit at all. So.
Yeah, but some people are definitely like that. Woody says RFK hit a dead bear in Central Park. I saw something about this. I didn't know what it was all about. He just did an interview with Roseanne. He's so weird. So he hit a dead bear. There's bears in Central Park? Mo, are there bears in Central Park?
Bears in Central Park? No. No.
I'm so confused. I mean, I saw something about this, so I know it's legit, but I don't really understand. How did he hit a bear in Central Park? Oh my, I don't get this. Like,
RFK Jr. I haven't watched that. That's on Roseanne's podcast, I think.
Yeah, I can't watch Roseanne. She is out there. Dr. Strange says, we don't need the electoral votes anymore. All the states have healthy populations now. Besides, should the popular vote mean that what we have decided in way of majority decision? Bro, I've been saying this for a million years. The Electoral College is so stupid. I mean, maybe it made sense back then, but it should 100% be popular vote. It should not matter where you live. Every person's vote should count the same. If you look at a voter in California and a voter in Wyoming, the person in Wyoming's vote is like 6 times more, counts 6 times more than a California vote when it comes to a national election like presidency. It's just not, it's not fair.
Well, it's not fair, but I mean, you can't go to a full popular vote, because then what happens, it's like if you took a sport team without a salary cap, it turns into like the fucking New York Yankees back in the day. So you for the luxury tax, you could just be like Florida and just be like, all right, no state tax, and you're going to just force people to want to live there, and you're going to now increase your numbers. So whatever that governor or governing body, whatever their political beliefs are, is now going to become stronger. Because you'd have to have something in place that wouldn't allow that. You know what I mean?
Well, why would that matter if it was the popular vote? I mean, if you have people moving from all these states in the Midwest to Florida, and it's the popular vote, their vote counts the same whether they're in the Midwest or in Florida.
Right, but there would be states would be lobbying for people and like bribing people, incentivizing them to move to their state because then they would now have more power.
Why would they have more power if everybody's vote is equal?
Because if I live in, let's just say, take Florida again, for instance, no state tax, whatever, and DeSantis is like, everybody come here, and DeSantis is, more Republican, right? So he would just be able to cast more of Republican views and give more power to Republican, whatever they want to do, whatever their agenda might be.
Yeah, I guess I can see that a little bit. True.
That's what I'm saying. But they would have to, I mean, listen, I'm not saying we have to keep the electoral college. I think it's definitely doesn't make sense fully. But I don't think you can go to a full popular vote because that would create all sorts of like shady things on the backside that, but there don't have to be things in place like maybe federal, regulations across the board, like no more state, like things would have, you can't have the states decide thing at a state level. Because
Right.
again, they would be able to incentivize it and make it unfair. At least that's the way I think it would go down. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right, let me catch up with the chat. Not sure is here. What's up, Not Sure? When it is about fake news, Musk has put out the best solution to it. Community notes. I mean, I still don't think the way Musk is doing things is very good because he's clearly one-sided and he has the power to make particular posts appear, whether they be right-wing or left-wing, usually right-wing, appear more than others. So an experiment I want to do, and maybe you guys should do this too, I haven't done it yet, is create a Twitter account, follow nobody, tweet nothing, like nothing, and see what type of notifications you get. Are you going to get notifications for right-wing conspiracy theories? I bet you do. Dr. Strange says, everything is about more or less. The point is still the point. This ain't about a comparison. It's about reality versus perception. Greedy says, this stuff going on in the up right now is also insane. In the up? What does that mean? Dr. Strange says, the perception is the North is not racist and the South is. The reality is racism is baked into the soil of America. Yeah, there's systematic racism for sure. And I don't necessarily know that we're defeating it.
No, it's only getting worse.
Yeah, it's kind of getting worse, and I think it'll get worse under Trump, personally. Super Arsenal's here. What's up, Super Arsenal? Gerrymandering is another problem. They're starting to deal with that a little bit better than they used to in the past, but I've always said if it wasn't for the Electoral College and gerrymandering, Republicans wouldn't be in office at all, because that's the only way they get to keep power. Dr. Strange says, he hit the bear upstate greater New York area while driving into the city. Now, why would he transport a bear to Manhattan? I don't know. I gotta find out more.
That doesn't make sense. But yeah, unless he was driving through and I don't know, had to stop for some reason. But yeah,
it's bringing it with him. Trump versus Biden. What's up, Ham Van Dam? Thanks for hanging out with us.
Van Dam
was looking forward to 4 more years of memes either way. Well, with Kamala, you're gonna have memes too. I promise. They've already started them. No matter who wins, we lose. I don't know. The fact that she chose Tim Walz as the vice president is a positive sign, in my opinion. Maybe she'll be better than Biden. Big A says, yeah, you can't have people vote all count the same. Then the person that gets the most vote would win. Yikes. I know, right? You know that Republicans have not won the popular vote, and I say this all the time, so y'all probably already heard me say this, but Republicans have not won the popular vote for the presidential election in over 30 years, with only one exception, Bush Jr. as an incumbent after 9/11. They almost never win the popular vote. Trump has never won the popular vote. He lost by millions of votes every time, even when he became president. And
that's crazy, though. It took one of the biggest fucking tragedies in the fucking American history to fucking... Yes.
And the crazy part is,
again, like when it comes to like patriotism and rallying, morale in the country, I mean, love or hate Bush, I mean, that motherfucker did a hell of a job. So did Giuliani. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we needed at the time. Would it fly in 2024? Probably not. But that's why he won, I think, by such a fucking landslide there.
Yeah, but you see what he did with that. He went and attacked Iraq, who had nothing to do with 9/11, and then...
Well, yeah, that was his plan all along. Of course, that was his plan all along, though.
Yes, of course. But it was really crazy about the point that
finish daddy's war, you know?
Yes, he had to finish his daddy's war. That's 100% correct. The crazy part of the fact that the Republicans never win the popular vote is that during that 30 years, the Republicans have appointed more than twice as many people to the Supreme Court than the Democrats, even though they're not the ones who won the popular vote. So it doesn't seem fair to me. Not sure it says because you always follow Musk. That's the reason, I guess, as a new user. You have to follow one person. Isn't Musk? That's what I did with my burner account that I read VeVe tweets with. And I definitely get a lot of...
it was like Tom from MySpace.
Yeah, I guess you have to.
Motherfucker always knew what Tom was up to, bro. That guy fucking never posted anything. That shit right at the top too. You couldn't even hide it.
True.
I tried removing Tom from my friends list back on MySpace. I'm like, I wrote a message. He's like, "You ever try to remove me again? I'm canceling your whole fucking account."
Yeah, you can't mess with
You
Tom.
want to talk about censorship? That shit was started all the way back then.
Denny OC's take on democracy is, so me, Mo, and OG all have $10 each. Me and Mo say, hey, OG, we voted on it and we want your money. 2 versus 1 vote. I mean, democracy is a good thing. You can't just vote to take my money, though. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, I don't know if it works like that. But if it did, then I would not be happy. That's for sure. Not sure it says Musk for president. Oh, my goodness. Autumn says, I have 2 accounts like that. All I get are Puppet, Elon's annoying conservative tweets. Well, if you're only getting Elon's tweets, it's not that bad. But I know on my, like I said, my burner account, I get notifications for right-wing conspiracy theories all the time, although I may have interacted with some stuff with that account in the past. I may have liked some tweets, so I'm not sure. That's why I think it would be a cool experiment to create an account and don't like anything. Try not to follow anybody. Don't do anything and see what kind of notifications you get. TLC says it's not a fair system from the start. I agree. Musk is anti-black racist. I'm good on him. I think he is, I don't know if he's a racist. I haven't heard a lot about it, but I know that his daughter just posted a whole bunch of stuff about him that was really wild. Like stuff like he claims to be a Christian, but he's never been to church and all this other bad stuff he's done. I didn't read the whole thing, but the fact that he's trying to he's trying to help Trump win, I think is not a good thing. It's almost like he bought Twitter in order to help Trump win. People are saying that immigrants are destroying the country, and I didn't agree with them in the past, but now I'm starting to agree with them. It's just one immigrant in particular, and he's from South Africa. Autumn says, is there something special with the VeVe red metallic drops? We'll get there. We're almost there. I'm trying to catch you.
Yeah, we'll get there.
What is your opinions on the 9? Well, maybe we won't get there. Super Arsenal's about to sidetrack us. I better not get into this. I mean, my opinions on the 9/11 conspiracy theories is that a plane did not hit the Pentagon. I will say that much. A plane did not hit the Pentagon. Some crazy stuff went down. I mean, there's so much to get into when you get into that. I better not start, though.
Yeah, someone like me, I was way too close to home for me.
Yeah, he's from
New York. If you lived
so.
on Long Island that day and those fucking planes hit, I mean, I was at work and they were like, yo, go home immediately. I had a dude who was stranded like an hour from his wife and kids.
Oh, crap.
Like crying, and like it was just my dad at home and my grandmother at her house. So like I made sure they were good. And I basically drove this guy all the way across Long Island. Let me tell you, I don't wish that upon anybody, because if you ever want to see what it looked like when the fucking when the sky is falling, so to speak, and people are fucking in pure panic, try living on Long Island at that fucking point in time, because the bridges were closed. You couldn't do anything. Me and my boys were figuring out how to rent a fucking boat. You know what I'm saying? If we really, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that there's a reason why I don't really discuss 9/11. It is a little too personal for me.
Can't believe they closed the bridges. Yeah, I was just trapped.
Oh yeah, dude, we were trapped. Exactly. So if they're, let's just say the terrorist plan was to, isolate Long Island and then fucking storm the beaches or some shit and take it over. I mean, that would have been a great first step, honestly. And a lot of people were concerned about that, to the point where I know people with guns, and they were like, yo, if we need your sniping abilities out on Montauk Point. Like, it was actually going to happen. So like, these aren't any fucking jokes. So, that was a wild day for me. So I don't really talk about conspiracy theories with it or much about it at all. You can tell why.
Yeah.
So.
Very close to home. Greedy One says, I think that
very
if
close.
Trump loses, he can appeal to the Supreme Court and they can install him. I mean, they probably would. I feel like he's got a lot more places in place, a lot of people in place, a lot of Secretary of States in place for him to try to overturn the election if he loses the way that he tried to last time. This time he could be successful. I don't know. And if so, that might start the Civil War. But if he loses, that also might start the Civil War, because they're going to claim that it was stolen, and all of his minions are going to be upset. Not sure. It says the only president I accept is a president AI. I know Joe Rogan thinks that we'll have an AI president one day, probably. Well, not in our lifetime, though. Not in our lifetime. I mean, when they become sentient, who else are we going to trust?
I hope it's someone like me creating that fucking AI bot that's running for president. Because if it's got any sort of political fucking leaning agendas, then we're fucked. Because it ain't gonna matter.
Big A says, I have a close high school friend that was walking out of the Pentagon and literally saw the plane fly over his head. He got medals for rescuing people with the car. He hotwired as an electrical engineer. Well, crap.
Let's go.
I think
Good on
you've had
him.
to tell me that before, Big A. Every time I say something about the Pentagon, I think you mentioned that before. All right, so maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying it's a conspiracy theory. That's all I'm saying. There's some crazy stuff. There's other things, but maybe the Pentagon was hit by a plane. Did you see the hole, though? It don't make sense. Dr. Strange says, furthest we can get by car is Queens and Brooklyn. Need bridges to get anywhere further. Yeah, you're cut off from the entire state. That's kind of crazy. I didn't know they shut down the entire bridges. Don't forget about the plane they say was shot down over Shanksville, PA. That wasn't. I mean,
Yeah, so that in particular, I was actually going to mention that if we were going to even discuss this at all anymore, but I have a good buddy of mine. His grandmother worked for the FAA or whatever it is, and she used to drop some crazy little tidbits without like wanting to get fucking fired or shot. You know what I mean? Like she would say some things, man. And I was like, oh damn. Yeah, I think that plane in particular, and I think the main reason with that was like the concern of like where it might wind up and what damage it might do. You know, and you talked about like the size of the hole because they were majority targeting the planes that were going long distances because they carried more fuel. You know what I mean? Which would create more of an impact. So. I mean, it's really a lot to fucking unpack, man. It's fucking sad.
And Rich Buddy's right. Building 7 is one of the most craziest things about the whole incident. Building 7 that just fell out of nowhere, even though it wasn't even hit by a plane, and just happened to be the headquarters of the FBI or the CIA or something. We better get moving on to the next topic before we get strung into 9/11 conspiracy theories, because there are so many of them, and we do not want to get into that. Like Mo said, it's close to home. It's not something he wants to talk about too, but I agree. There's some crazy stuff going on when it comes to the whole 9/11 event. All right, we're going to be talking about some Web3 games, and the first one is one that Mo pointed out to me that he wanted to talk about today, and after I saw it, I realized that there was another person on my feed, another homie, can't remember exactly who it was, who had just posted about this game themselves. So it's apparently a way to play old Atari games on chain. Mo, tell us about Big Time. Is that what it's called? Well, no, what's it called? Atari Classic Games on chain?
Yeah, so the site is arcade.fun. What it is, it's an initiative from Atari to put their classic games on the blockchain. So what you do is you go there, you link your wallet, you can link it to MetaMask or anything like that.
All right, hold on, Mo. I got you muted. My bad. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Can you start over? My bad.
You're good. Okay, so basically it's arcade.fun is the website, and it's Atari's initiative to bring their classic arcade games to the blockchain. What you do is you go there, you link your MetaMask, your Coinbase wallet, and you can mint copies of the games. So right now they have Asteroids and they have Breakout. I think it's like $5 total. You know, obviously base is cheap, doesn't have fees or anything. So, I think it's like $4.50, $5 per game. You can mint multiple if you want, but there's really no benefit. You could always play endlessly with one copy. And I bought Asteroids again, and I've probably played it for like an hour, which is actually longer than I've played a lot of current games that come out. I paid $60 for. I played Asteroids for like maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and if I was at an arcade machine putting quarters in, I definitely got my money's worth. Now I own the NFT copy of the game, but what's really cool, and a good buddy of mine who's really into arcade games and like goes to arcades and has one in his garage, you know what I mean? One of those types of guys. He loves this because it has online blockchain leaderboards where you can win prizes and gift cards and money. Like it's sick, man. It's like you're almost like reskinning like an old, cash cow basically. And it's really cool, man. But right now it's Asteroids and Breakout.
Yeah, the fact that it's an Atari IP is really cool to me. I mean, I remember I used to have those arcade NFTs from, I can't remember exactly what it was called, but they had Frogger and Pac-Man. What's that? You remember that?
I remember the NFTs. I was looking into buying them, but I never did.
Yeah, they were cool themselves, and the fact that they're kind of doing the same thing with having the online leaderboards for old classic games, I think is awesome. If they put Pitfall into this, it's over. I'm about to buy it and be the game
it's coming.
board leader. Pitfall would be dope. I mean, even Pac-Man. There's so many old school Atari games. I used to play a lot of them. I had an Atari, so this is really interesting to me. So whenever you buy it, do you get like an NFT that looks like the cartridge, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it'll show up in your Coinbase wallet or MetaMask. I don't know if you can look at it. I don't know if it shows up on OpenSea, but yeah, it's essentially you're minting the NFT of the cartridge or the game copy, and then again, they allow you to mint multiple, but that's just more for like supporting the platform or the initiative. So
sorry about the background noise. My kid is going wild back there about some game. I want to yell back there, but I feel like I shouldn't be yelling at my kid on stream, but like, shut up, dude, or quiet down. VeVe, I did not block you. This is something that YouTube does all the time. They block comments for some reason. We don't know. We haven't figured out why. You're not even saying nothing bad, I know, but for some reason, it always seems to block comments randomly. Rich Buddy says, just don't buy any Atari NFTs. I got rug pulled by the Atari coin. Was that by the actual company, the Atari company? Interesting. That's probably not good, but I mean, these look really dope to me. I would like to have some, especially like I said, if it's Pitfall. I can't even think of some of the old Atari games that I used to have, but if some of them popped up, I would recognize them and be like, yes, I want to play that again, especially now that I can play it competitively.
Could you? Yeah, you just exactly where I was going. Could you imagine if they came out with Atari Baseball?
Ooh.
And me and you could link up and play old school Atari Baseball head to head in 2024, dude.
That'd be awesome.
There's a thing on the NES emulator where you could actually do that, but it's so freaking janky trying to get it to work sometimes.
Yeah.
But I've done it with my boy, and we played like Contra. I was in Cali at the time, I think. He was in New York, and he was like player 1, I was player 2, or vice versa. It was so sick, man.
Yes.
But yeah, dude. So the NFTs are the cartridge. Mm-hmm. Got the menu music playing for the NFT. I'm looking at it on OpenSea right now. So
man, I'm gonna
pretty
check
cool,
that out.
man.
Yeah, I want some.
Yeah,
of those.
pretty
That's
cool.
Very cool. Wop, I'm not sure what you mean by this. He says you minted both games. What game? Oh, you minted these 2 games. Let's go.
Yeah, so it's Asteroids and Breakout. I actually haven't minted Breakout yet.
Space
yes,
Invaders. I used to play the crap
mint it.
out of Space Invaders. Oh my.
Yep. Space Invaders was dope. Oh my god. Shit, there was the one game. Oh, I can't think of it right now. But every time he died, it had that song. It was like dun 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 dun.
I'm not sure.
It
what
was a
that
side
was.
scroller. Oh my god. Oh, dude, it's gonna freaking drive me crazy if nobody in chat knows.
There's gonna be some good. I remember that too. Whenever somebody mentions that, if they do, I'll remember it. Daniel C says my kid sounded more like a man. He's growing. He's like 13 now. He's getting up there. Rich Buddy says he actually got rug pulled by Atari directly, so that kind of worries me. If these are Atari NFTs and they've already rug pulled, I can't believe Atari would rug pull on a crypto coin, but was it Bud Light or Budweiser rug pulled people? So I guess anybody can. Watt Mama says I like Breakers the best. Sounds familiar. I'm not sure what Breakers is. My boy was playing Doom today, playing old school games. Yes, Pitfall was my jam for sure. Space Invaders, another good one. 1942, that sounds familiar. I don't know if that's the one you were talking about. Android recognizes that sound too. Yeah, it sounds familiar to me. We got another game too. This one looks pretty cool as well. I got a little bit of gameplay footage that I'm going to show you guys while Mo tells you about it. It's called Machine. I think it's called Machines Arena.
The Machines Arena?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the Machines Arena is a fully free-to-play, but you can buy like VIP access to get more like a multiplier on your points. But it's kind of similar to that game I was playing, that roguelike game, where you were like playing for a spot on the leaderboard to get, airdrops, and the better you do, the higher you get on the leaderboard, which will, allocate you more of like a token drop and whitelist for, minting of, high-end items, whatever the case might be. This game, I don't know yet, but it might be one of the coolest fucking games I ever played. I don't know why I like it so much. It's a top-down Overwatch, but it also has like this death run single player, because I love making these types of death run games. That was my popular. That's what I made a shit ton of money on Fortnite with, was my death run obstacle course thing. Mm-hmm. So when I see shit like this, and I'm like, ooh, wait a second, like it really does grab my interest, and I couldn't stop playing it while I was playing it. It's got online ranked multiplayer, but yeah, it's essentially a top-down Overwatch, which if you don't like these types of games, maybe you'll just instantly be turned off by it, which is fine. But, I play enough so-called AAA games that rip me off and take my money. But sometimes it's nice to play shit like this, a little different. Kind of like the old Fallout games and, stuff like that, or even like Gauntlet. So, but anyway, yeah, you're trying to like push the objective, they're trying to push it back at you. You got different characters, different abilities. Now, as far as like the NFT Web3 portion of it, majority of it seems cosmetic, but I have noticed like these drones, like not drones, I forgot what they're called, but you kind of like add them to your character, and it's kind of like a stat boost. So you'll like and those seem to have monetary value on the marketplace too. So,
Nice.
yeah, I think the whole point of the game is going to be, unlocking these things in game or crafting them, and then you go to the website where you would mint it. Because that's the biggest problem, right? When you put these games on the App Store or either Google or Apple, the blockchain integration becomes real, like a gray area. So what they have to do is they have to create a game that's fully free to play, log in with Google, all the good stuff. But then when you're ready to actually do the monetary part, you just go to the website. You know what I'm saying? You circumvent the app at that point, but you already linked your accounts. And now you set up the Web3, and now you get all that shit going. And if you go back into the app, the profile just keeps everything linked, and you could just continue on as usual. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a brilliant workaround, honestly. It's
Yeah,
like,
I think that's definitely the best way to do it.
yeah. This way, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about the Apple and the fucking Googles coming after you being like, oh, we don't allow blockchain. We don't allow crypto and all that shit. So
Right.
it's pretty good, in my opinion. I like what they're doing. Like I said, the game is so much fun.
Yeah, looks cool. It almost looks like a Diablo, but with guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only thing about it that, again, I know Big A probably loving it. I think he's a fan of the Ronin blockchain. I just hate when these games are on some random ass chain.
True.
Like, if this game goes under, the other biggest game on it goes under, which I think might be Illuvium. Does the whole blockchain just go away? Do they just pack it up and go home? That ain't happening with fucking Matic or Polygon and
Right.
Ethereum and Solana. Like, that ain't happening.
True. Good point. Yeah, 100%. Rich
That
Buddy
worries
is
me.
thinking that it could have been Dig Dug, another old school game, Spy Hunter, Gauntlet. Gauntlet was on Nintendo.
Oh, dude, Spy Hunter was so good, bro. Oh, my, was it? Is
that with the car? And you had to go into the truck to refresh or something?
Damn.
I remember that.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. Bump and Jump. Yo, Bump and Jump was one of the fucking... Holy shit, yeah. Okay. We gotta get some of these games on there and have, like... We can have, like, a little head-to-head duel, something to do a stream and just, like, head-to-head.
Yes, I like
Fucking
Spy
try to
versus
set some high
Spy.
scores.
Spy versus Spy was fun. Jeff just said it too. Spy versus Spy used to be
Yep.
fun, where you could hide the bomb and try to trick the people into. I used to have all kinds of strategies for that. Wap Mama says he was ranked number 6 on the daily leaderboard for the breakout Atari yesterday. So I think that Swap is who I saw on Twitter tweeting about the Atari games that you can now mint and play online with a leaderboard. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Like I said, I wish they had some of the games that I remember and liked the best. Asteroid was pretty good, but stuff
Well, this
like...
is so new, though. Like,
Yeah.
dude, when I sent it to you, I think it came out, like, even, like, the past week or so. And
oh, wow.
as a matter of fact, when I minted Asteroids, that's the only game that was on there.
Oh,
And then when I refreshed it, I was like, oh, shit, now they got 2 already. So, like, they added Breakout, it seems like, after the fact. So,
Nice.
who knows, dude? It might be once, maybe 2-3 times a week where it's like, hey, dude, Spy vs. Spy just came out, followed by Pitfall tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Bump and Jump. Like,
Yep.
it could very well be the case. I mean, think about it. How fucking hard do you really think it is for them to, you know what I'm saying?
Not hard at
convert
all.
that, right? So,
Yeah, I agree.
you know.
Pokey says, I like free games to play. Yeah, like we were saying, that's probably the best way to get some of these Web3 games going is to make them free to begin with. Danny OC says, Contra would be lit. Give it to me right now, Mo. Do you know the cheat code to get 30 lives in Contra?
Yeah, it's A, B, oh
Nope.
shit. Up, down, B, A, B, A,
Let's
select start.
go.
Yeah.
Everybody
All right,
knows.
so let me ask you one. 007-373-5963. What is that?
Sounds like something for Bond. I don't know.
No, it's the code to skip right to Mike Tyson and punch out.
I was going to say Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Crap. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I was wrong on the Konami code. I always fuck that up.
Up,
I don't think it was
up, down, down.
I think it was, yeah, I think it's up, down. I always say up, down, up, down. Up, down, left, right, left, right.
Left, right, BA, BA.
B, A, B, A, select start, yeah.
Yep.
And you know what's crazy? The amount of fucking, just that one little cheat code, right? All the way back then. How many video games over the course of your lifetime did you just try? You sat there for maybe hours just trying to put in random ass shit on the controller.
I used to do that all the time, 100%.
NBA Jam, do you remember NBA Jam where you can
Yes.
play as like Bill Clinton and like put in like all the weird names? Dude, we sat there for fucking days just putting in the most random ass codes.
And every
trying to,
once
like,
in a while, one
unlock
of them would
people.
work. Super Arsenal wants to know whose background is that? Is something random that I found on Google, so I have no idea. Sorry. I just was looking for something that represented gaming, and it had the Ghostbusters car right there in the middle. You can see the Game Boy. You got Scream on the TV with Drew Barrymore, so I thought it was pretty cool. Gabby J. I'm not sure what Gabby J is. That must be a cheat code for NBA Jam, maybe. All right, let's get into crypto. I know we got a lot of VeVe collectors here, and although there's a lot going on in VeVe right now, we're going to talk, a lot going on in crypto right now with markets crashing. We're going to talk about VeVe in particular because there's a lot going on in VeVe. So we'll start off with the good news, and that is mostly about the upcoming drops, which I think are going to be good drops to go for. A lot of people are complaining that these red metallics are just remakes of NFTs that already exist on VeVe, just painted red, and they ain't wrong. However, the edition size is 444, and it's 40 gems, so it's definitely going to be above retail. Thor's the one that drops on Saturday. I think Iron Man maybe drops on Friday. I'll be streaming the Thor drop for sure. But the alpha on this that you should know is that My Collectibles tweeted that wouldn't it be cool if collecting the new Marvel Reds lead to something bigger? That would be cool. And then Patient Holler, the homie, says the Red Doc Ock hopefully plays a role. That's the red metallic that was dropped over 2 years ago, I believe. And My Collectibles says he's in the video. So it sounds to me like if you own all of the red metallics, including the Doc Ock, that it's going to lead to something bigger. That's probably true.
That's cool. Because I own, I think, 2 of the red Doc Ocks. Because early on, they were like, oh, part of the new Marvel Red collection, remember?
Yep.
Now, mint size is going to come into play here, right? Because the mint size on Doc Ock was way higher, wasn't it?
Yes, but they did burn a bunch of them. However, I think there's still over 2,000 that
That's
are...
what I was asking, yeah. Do we know the actual mint size? Like, what is the actual mint left?
Well, I think it was about 4,000 initially, but they burnt like 2,000 of them. Something like that. Maybe you guys can let me know. But I think there's about 2,000 in circulation.
Okay. Which is still way higher, obviously, than the 444.
444 on these, yeah. So they're going to be the ones that are worth a lot. However, people are going to be buying up those Doc Ocks. The price has already gone up from like 20 floor price to like over 30 floor price. So it's went up over 33% already just for people picking them up. Yeah.
Even though I probably paid 35 each, so I'm probably not back in profit, but
I had a few of these myself. I was holding them saying that we're going to get more red metallics soon. We're going to get more red metallics soon. And then the days passed and the weeks passed and the years passed, and I finally gave up and sold them.
Wait a second. We might have finally solved the case, brother.
What's that?
We finally know what VeVe's time frame is for soon.
Is it 2 years?
We cracked the code. It's 2 years. Bam, there you go.
Sounds
Anything
legit.
else? Whenever they said soon, go back, chat. Find the video and just add 2 years. Bam.
Every time they say soon, about 2 years. That sounds about legit. All right, so that's the good news in VeVe. We got some decent drops coming up. Now let's get to the more of not so good news. So one thing that was posted by the Omi Watcher, who always tweets about any type of whale transactions related to Omi, was 2 days ago. He tweeted that somebody had moved $168,000 worth of Omi to Etherscan, which usually means that they're selling it, and the person who moved it was the wallet that belongs to Reese, the former community manager, and people have always been talking about how Reese sells his Omi. So the fact that he's selling some more, even though it's down right now, I think Omi is at under 0004 now. It's been dropping as all the crypto has been dropping. Omi has been dropping more than normal cryptos, and cryptos have recovered a little bit in the last 24 hours, but Omi has not recovered. So maybe that's a sign that Reese doesn't think Omi's going to recover at all, so he's trying to sell while he can. Do you think it's okay, Mo, for Reese to be selling his Omi?
I mean, it depends on the reasoning why. I mean, if he's selling because he wants to use insider information and time the market, that's fucked up. If they finally came to their senses and kicked his ass to the curb, then maybe he just wants to unload everything and just be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably better to be down than not out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, 100%. And I always kind of thought that he had left Ecomi, or he had left the project, but the last time, or maybe not the last time, because they just had San Diego Comic-Con, but the time before that, when they had a live event, he was actually there, which was surprising to me. So I don't know if he's still a part of the team or not. But somebody who is still questionable whether they're a part of the team or not is Rev Alex and Ben Gadenzi.
yeah, what's up with this?
Ben Gadenzi, which is the fake Ben Gadenzi, not the real Ben Gadenzi, showed me a post that Reverend Alex had made that was really questionable to me, like what the heck. But then after he shared it with me and people started talking about it, even though it was like a month old, Rev Alex deleted that exact post. But of course, like always, we got them screenshots for you. So this was the post that he deleted. It was back in July of 28th. So I guess it wasn't a month ago, more like a week or two ago. And this Bingadenzi, who's I think a big fudder or whatever, probably a Futter's burner account, posted MF Omi rug pull. And then Reverend Alex, the community manager, replied saying, "You have no idea," of course spelling you with the Y-U like David you have no idea. And it almost sounds like, I don't know, it doesn't sound good. What do you think he's saying there, Mo? He says you have no idea in response to somebody saying mother effing Omi rug pull.
Okay, so I'm not even going to look at what he's saying, because again, we can go two ways with this, but I'm going to look at what happens after the fact. And normally when people don't want things out in the open, whether people are talking about it, they don't want people talking about it because it's usually truthful. Why would he delete it? That's what I'm really more concerned about. So if, let's just say he's saying you have no idea, like Ben Gadenzi is clueless and shut the fuck up, you know what I mean? He would have left it up. Because he'd be like, all right, cool, you have no idea, shut the fuck up, right?
Right.
However, but due to the fact that it was deleted, now I'm not so sure. Now I'm just saying, you know what? Maybe that was some really, really cryptic shit from Alex. Is he still with the team? Like, what?
Nobody knows for sure. I mean, he hasn't tweeted about VeVe in a long, long time. He wasn't at San Diego Comic-Con.
That's weird.
I posted a conspiracy.
That's weird.
Yeah, here's my conspiracy theory that I posted. I posted that My Collectibles took Reverend Alex's place because Reverend Alex was a professional community manager and he probably made a decent salary, and they were probably able to get My Collectibles to do it for free as a volunteer. I mean, he's still going for drops. He's still flipping on the market. I don't even think they pay the dude. Somebody mentioned that maybe they pay him in gems. Most likely that was like a money saving issue, but I don't know for sure. I mean, that's just my theory, but it kind of seems like Rev Alex is no longer with VeVe.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he wasn't at Comic-Con,
Yeah.
and he, I mean, in my opinion, was the only likable person there. And even I don't think he believed half the shit that he said. Remember I told you, like, he used to piss me off when he would, you know, talk about how bad people are getting screwed on VeVe and then, like, chuckle about it. And be like, well, I guess we have to talk about the elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hated that shit. It was so pompous shit. However, I still felt like he, outside of that, was, like, one of the more likable people. And maybe he was just, again, put in a position that he didn't want to be in, because you get, like you said, he's a professional, you know? So when you're a professional, you tend to carry yourself in a more professional manner. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just again, it's the first I'm hearing it. That's why I'm like acting surprised. My first reaction is, yeah, he's not there.
Yeah, I don't think he's with the team anymore, personally. People say they see him in Twitter Spaces sometimes, but not VeVe Twitter Spaces and MemeCoin Twitter Spaces. So he's still active on Twitter, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he lives in California. And Comic-Con was in San Diego, if I'm not mistaken. So if he was with the team, he definitely would have been there. If those two things are true, I'm not 100% sure that he's from California, lives in California, and I'm not 100% sure that Comic-Con was in San Diego. I'm pretty sure it was. But yeah.
Now I just hope it's not a personal issue. Maybe he's got family tragedies. Something might be going on. I hope that's not the case. Right. You know, maybe sometimes I feel like with how, you know, cool he was with the community at all times, he might just say, like, guys, I'm not gonna be around. I got some things I got to take care of or something. I feel like he might be the type of guy to at least give people a heads up. But yeah, this whole ghosting thing is kind of interesting. And again, this is the first I'm hearing about it today. It's not even like I knew about what the hell we're going to talk about on this part of it.
Yeah, and that whole response is kind of weird too. It almost seems like he is saying that it is a rug pull. Like, you have no idea how bad it is. But like you said, maybe he means you have no idea what you're talking about. He didn't really complete that sentence. We need more information, and then he deleted it. So you know he's not giving us more information. This is what we get, and we got to figure out exactly what he meant by it. But like you said, the fact that he deleted it kind of tells you something. VeVe Vet
Actions
says,
speak louder than words. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we really needed him to finish that. I think just the retraction or the deletion of the tweet,
yes,
it almost says enough, unfortunately.
True. And it's weird that he made it at 3:16 in the morning, but I guess that's 12:16 in California, so maybe that's not that weird. VeVe Vet says, check the Forest Hill response. Is that Foster Hilt, maybe? Forest Hill response on that wallet today? Let me know what that is. I have
Forest Hill, isn't that an ice cream? That's Turkey Hill.
What's that?
I was thinking of Turkey Hill, the ice cream. Well, Forest Hill, isn't that stop on the LIRR?
The-
Yeah, I think it is.
Big A says we used to play Twisted Metal 2 with all the cheat codes minus invincibility. Jeff says Super Punch Out. Yeah, I think I remember that. Before Mike Tyson's Punch Out, it was Super Punch Out. Jeff says buy all the red metallic, get a green metallic. That would be pretty dope, actually, especially if it's super scarce. Autumn says crypto rises, Omi down, crypto drops, Omi stays down. That is the pattern, the Omi pattern right there. Hashtag you have no idea. Silence leads to speculation. That's true, but I don't think he's gonna comment it anymore if he's deleting his tweets. So we're gonna speculate because that's what VeVe people do. Alex G doesn't show. I don't think he showed up. Who is Ben Gadinzi? Oh, so Ben Gadinzi, you got to get super OG to get into that. So Ben Gadinzi was at the very beginning of VeVe and Akomi. He was on the team, and then he left the team, and then he sued Orbis, which is the parent company of Akomi, and he sued them because he didn't get all the Omi that he was promised, or it's locked or something. But he has billions of Omi, and some people speculate that he's dumping Omi sometimes. I mean, there's a whole long story behind Ben Gadinzi. He's actually been on, I think, Cavel's channel before doing an interview, which ended up being the source of a lot of conspiracy theories. So, I mean, you have to get really deep to get into the Gadinzi stuff. If you watch my VeVe a scam video, that talks a little bit about Ben Gadinzi and shows some of his past activities. Might help you understand a little bit more about what's going on there. All right, there's something else we want to show you. A couple things we wanted to talk about. One of them is what's going on in the UK. We're going to get into that because I find that interesting. Me and Mo were talking about it, and what I heard about it I think is different than what Mo heard about it. But before we get into that, I want to show you something you might want to worry about, and that is China. Chinese military has developed a small unmanned drone that resembles a bird. The drone is capable of mimicking the flight of a bird, including the movement of its wings, to achieve a high level of realism. So China might be making fake birds, y'all, and the fake birds could have bombs attached. Let's see what they look like. Let me show you what one of these look like.
Kamikaze fucking bird drones? Oh my god.
And it does look like a bird. So he throws it up in the air. It just looks like a bird flapping around up there, and then it just comes down on your head and blows up your house. That's kind of scary, y'all. That is... Ugh.
I mean, I just hope, man, like, if people don't take shit seriously, as so, you know, like, remember, like, the Chinese balloon?
Yeah.
If you really think that was, like, little Chow Ching Ping's fucking birthday party balloon that escaped, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that was just a little tester as to what was to come. That was a precursor, man, because now we got these fucking lifelike looking birds. Oh, my God. Like, how many birds you think about to start getting shot out the sky that resemble anything near... You know what I'm saying?
Right. They could just mass produce those. They're not losing men whenever you shoot a bird down, so who cares what happens to them?
Oh my god, bro. What if all... Oh my god, now it all makes sense. We're solving our own conspiracy theories live on the show. All these fucking videos that we have of like these metal things flying through the air. What if they were unpainted Chinese birds?
Ooh. Yeah.
Like why, bro? Like, why would you go through all the trouble of making it look realistic and painting it? Like the first prototype's just gonna be a plain ass fucking silver shiny fucking thing. Holy shit, I wonder if that's what it was.
So that's where all the UFOs come from. I do feel like a lot of the UFOs that people catch on camera these days are drones, and people will make drones that look like UFOs and put them up in the sky to trick people, and they get a kick out of it whenever they see an online video of the drone that they made and people calling it a UFO. But Gritty One brings up a good point that version 1 are the New York City pigeons. Do you know the whole conspiracy theory about New York City pigeons and birds in general, that they're actually robots, and that's why they sit on the power line so they can recharge?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? They don't exist. What's up with that? All right, Super Arsenal says, when was the last time...
Holy shit, have I?
No.
Have I ever seen a baby pigeon?
They don't exist because they're robots, bro.
Oh my god, that might be the... You just blew my mind. I text my girl because she's sitting here, I'm like, you ever seen a baby pigeon? And she fucking hates birds, so this whole fucking
my kid hates birds
drone
too.
thing
I don't know what's up with that. Is that like a phobia?
I don't know. I think she was shit on by a bird.
Oh yeah,
she was a kid twice.
Do it. Super Arsenal makes a good point,
I had a bird shit in my coffee
though.
once.
China doesn't
I
really
had a bird
invade
shit right in my
anybody.
coffee. It was pretty bad.
He says, when was the last time China invaded anyone? Isn't that America and Israel's job or Russia's? But then again, China has been talking about that they're going to invade, is it Taiwan? I think it's Taiwan that they're trying to, or they've been talking about taking over for a long time. What's up, Real Goku? Says, so is Alex J still working for VeVe or not? Nobody knows for sure. I mean, he still tweets about stuff, but it's non-VeVe related, except for that one tweet that we just showed a minute ago. Apparently, that was VeVe related, but we don't really exactly know what he meant by it. And we do know that he deleted it, so I don't think he still works for VeVe, but I could be wrong. Like, why would they need two community managers? One that doesn't do anything, but then again, maybe he's now the supervisor for community managers.
Well, the timing of the message too. I mean, you said 3:16 for your time, which is 12:16 West Coast, right?
True, yeah.
I mean, look at the timing of it, right? You get done with your night. Maybe you're kicking back a couple cold ones. Maybe you had one too many. You're scrolling through on Twitter.
True.
You know what I'm saying? You start to get pissed off about the whole VeVe situation, how it all went down, and you made a little tweet. You know what I'm saying? And that, it's kind of like if you ever drunk texted a girl or something, or somebody you were pissed off at. You might retract it the next day,
Yeah, it was interesting that it only had like 300 views when I first saw it, but when I just screenshotted, or I saw that screenshot, it was at 1,300 views, and the first when he posted it was July 28th, and when I saw it and said something about it was like yesterday. So in that time, it had only gotten 300 views, but then after we started talking about it and it started blowing up and it got like 1,300 views, that's when he decides to delete it. So maybe he said something that he forgot about it, and then he noticed people talking about it, and he was like, I probably regret that. I shouldn't be saying that, so he got rid of it. I don't know. Goku says, did the next decon start? Was he there? No, there was the San Diego Comic-Con, though, and he wasn't there, and I'm pretty sure he lives in California, maybe even San Diego. I don't know 100% sure. But the decon, I think, is in November, if I'm not mistaken, and it's in Las Vegas this year. Goku says, I heard the bum Randy said in the stream yesterday Alex wasn't working with them. Then today, Alex J tweets. Who's Alex J? Is that Rev Alex? I thought it's Alex Gonzalez, so I don't know what the J's from. Did he tweet today about it? I don't know. I haven't been on Twitter much today. And I definitely ain't watching no Randy streams. And then the other last topic that I wanted to get into was the stuff going on in Britain. So I'll tell you the story that I heard. And I heard it from Philly D, which is Philip DeFranco, who I watch his news channel on YouTube all the time. He's been around for a long time. He's pretty much liberal, but he sources all his information, and he usually has really good information. So according to him, I'm pretty sure that's who I heard it from. What had happened was there was a teenager, who went to some Taylor Swift get-together and stabbed to death 3 children. And the person who did this was born and raised in United Kingdom. He's born and raised in England. He's never been to another country. He's not from another country. However, a bunch of right-wingers on Telegram started up this whole theory that he was actually an immigrant. And then that theory got moved to Twitter. And then when the crazy Twitter people heard about it, the people in Britain just started going out and like attacking all Muslims. And I think I saw a video where they attacked some black guy on the street for no reason at all. So Mo, what did you hear about it?
Yeah, I just heard about like Muslim, just such a weird, sort of like a stabbing or something, right?
Yeah.
And it just started with like escalating into beatings, and I think they're kind of blaming it on like far right groups attacking immigrants and Muslims and shit. Like, listen, I have such a hard time keeping up with shit here that honestly, I feel like even if I step into this territory, I'm probably speaking out of my ass, but I can just always give my opinion on whether I think it's right or wrong. But I don't even know if I know all the facts here. To me, it feels like the world's just fucking losing their mind. We gotta figure shit out, bro, because
I feel like the world is a pendulum. It swings like really far left, and we'll get some really left-leaning policies, and then that really makes the people on the right upset, and it empowers them to go out and vote and empowers them to do things, and then so many of them get involved and get stuff done that the pendulum then swings to the right, and then we get too much of the right-wing policies where you're outlawing gay marriages and stuff, and then that makes all the liberals start to be more active in politics, and then everything starts to swing to the left. And now I think we had swung to the left a bit, and now we're starting to swing back to the right. Like the pendulum's moving faster. When Trump was in office, well, it was Obama really that was the first thing, and Obama was a good president. I don't care what you say, even though he was corporatist.
I agree.
But the racists, like that really triggered them big time, and that's how we ended up with Donald Trump, because like the racists were like, this is not good. We can't have a black man as the president. And they also
don't want a female either, but
they got so active and involved that they went with the most racist candidate possible, which was Donald Trump. And I don't know if I would say that was their revenge or whatever, but then the pendulum swung to the right. And now, because we have Trump, and Trump is one of the people going for the presidency right now, I think it's good that Kamala picked a progressive to be her vice president, because all the people on the left are really worried about Trump, and that's going to make that pendulum hopefully swing back to the left.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the pendulum theory. I mean, I think life is really like that. You know, especially if you're on the right side, if you're on the momentum with the pendulum, you know, everything's going your way, and you're like, well, it doesn't affect me right now, so I don't really need to speak up. I can just kind of go on and do my life.
Exactly.
But when that pendulum, like you said, starts kicking back the other direction, probably, like you said, more towards the right. And again, a lot of these extreme, you know, right-leaning theories and agendas, I don't buy into most of it or subscribe to it. So again, I'm definitely, you know, people can say whatever they want. I know I'm a centrist. At my heart, I voted Democrat, I voted Republican. I don't really give a shit. I don't see race color, I don't see party color, honestly. I just listen to the candidates and I vote based on that. I feel like that's the only thing I can do. But as far as the pendulum, yeah, of course, when you're being affected by it, you're gonna start to speak up. So yeah, you'll see more of a right-leaning revolution, and then when they get the power, they shut up, and then the left starts to speak up a little bit more, and people are like, well, maybe that makes sense because I'm being affected now, and they just jump on the pendulum. So what we need is get away from this whole pendulum, and to make it more like a grandfather clock. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because the grandfather clock, when it sits there and you got the thing that hangs, it just kind of back and forth slowly. You know what I'm saying? Yep. The tick tock, the tick tock, and it keeps us in sync and it keeps us in unison. And I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is to get that unison, but you know, again, Trump's rhetoric, not the answer. You know, some of the moves by the left, especially with the Kamala pick, I don't think is the answer either. You know, I don't know what the answer is, so I'm not sitting here like I have the actually maybe it's RFK Jr., but you know, that's a fucking pipe dream. So.
Yeah, you might be right about that. I think it's better to have democracy, though, than like communism or full-blown socialism. I think we're in the right system, the democratic system. I think it needs to be more democratic, like we talked about the Electoral College earlier. But the fact that we are a democracy is why we get to have that pendulum swing. If not, it would just stay in one position. It wouldn't be swinging back and forth. So that's the good part about living in America. Poka Pokey says, I think Alex G might be too busy with his family. You might be right. All right, it was Alex G then. So apparently he tweeted today. I have to go check that out. A lot of theft and violent crimes. Are you talking about under the Trump administration? I know, it was wild. Woody says, I try to always look at their records, what their actions have been, never what they say. Politicians lie, period. Yeah, politicians do lie 100%. And if you go in and look at their voting records, that will give you a good idea of what they're really going to be focused on if they get into office. I agree with that, Woody. Good point. All right, y'all. Shoo. We got through the whole thing without too many technical difficulties. I'm surprised. Shout out to Mo for co-hosting today. Let's go. What do you got planned for this week, Mo?
It's breeding week, man. We just actually got 2 more breeds while we were doing the show, so that little income will help. But yeah, man, just racing, breeding. I got all these other games I'm playing. Still heavy into world shards, and that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you as jumping on and doing the show as always, but yeah, what you got going on?
I gotta mint one of those Atari NFTs for sure. I like those a lot, even though Rich got rugged by Atari apparently. So it's only like $5 or $6, what Mo says. So it's not a huge gamble. I'll be live
like
streaming.
$450, I think, all said and done.
How much was it?
Like $450.
Yeah, that's
so a cup of coffee. You know what I mean?
Coffee? Where are you going to Starbucks?
Starbucks is $6-7, man. I'm talking about like a Dunkin' Donuts cup of coffee these days.
That's the New York prices. Yeah. And then I'll be live streaming Saturday's drop for sure. We'll have another Tales from the Crypto next Tuesday. So if you guys are online next Tuesday, make sure to come by and hang out with us. I appreciate y'all being here. I didn't even tweet about it or post in Discord because I was having computer troubles and it got me all the way up to the last second to get all the graphics done. So I didn't have time to tweet about it. So I definitely appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out with us. We'll keep an eye on the Olympics, about what's going on with the female boxers, and of course keep an eye on the final 8 for the basketball. America's in there. Hopefully they win. Hopefully they get a gold medal. If not, that's definitely going to be something we'll be talking about because I'll be shocked. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you next week. Later, homies.
Take it easy, chat. Later, Bolt.
Later. Exactly is the debate. The debate is about, are the new comics causing the Grail comics to drop in price? I'm on the side.
You're still here.
I don't know. There might be a little bit more argument. I'll have to reread it before we do the live stream.
It's
before
over.
we do the Twitter space.
Go
We're coming
home.
down a little bit. We're under 100 now.
Oh, you must be
Still
expecting a
waiting for something
teaser
with
for the
Brad
next
in.
VeVe drop. Well, we don't have that.
I can't get
You
it.
expect some
Half the time
show
it's
up with
dipped perfectly.
iPad, saucy little leather. Remember,
Bob,
go.
me too. All FOMO people getting wrecked. What a day.